All right, guys, we're going to be starting in just a few minutes. All right, we're going to be getting started in just a couple of minutes. More people coming in. As you're waiting, let us know where you're watching from. Put your city, your state, your country. If you're outside of the United States, let us know where you're watching from. And I see Ann Harris, I see Alice Scott, Brian. I see both Brians, Brian and then Brian Keller, of course. So good to see you guys. We'll be starting in just about a minute or two. So let us know in the chat box where you're watching from. And we're going to be getting started. So let's see. I'm going to turn on my camera. And if you have the option to, be sure to turn on your camera. I think these things are always fun when we have our cameras on because it allows us to kind of get to see each other. So Groton, Connecticut, Danielle, good to see you again. Springfield, Virginia is where Brian Keller is at. The other Brian's all the way up in Canada. Let's see. We got Donnie. And then Ryan acknowledges Donnie. He says, what's up, Donnie? Good to see that. Ryan and Donnie. Jim Stokes over in Missouri. Good to see you, Jim, as always. Donnie's in Los Angeles, so all the way in LA, other side of the coast. We've got Ryan in Texas. We've got, who else do we have? They're flying in here. So we've got Jennifer. Mathis, good to see you, Jennifer, as well, in Utah. Vija in Canada. Let me know if I said your name right, Vija. We've got Margaret Rubin all the way in Kenya. It's got to be pretty early in the day for you. All right. Nafani, let me know if I said your name right, Nafani. Where are you watching from as well? I noticed that you didn't put your location in there. Marcus Brown is all the way in San Diego, California. We've got Linda in Florida. Who else? We've got, let's see. Oh, Nafani's in LA as well. All right. Very cool. If you're just coming in, let us know where you're watching from. This is going to be a really short presentation here. I want to show you guys some things that I've been doing for a while and that we're starting to teach more and more on how to actually get visibility for the courses, the books, the digital products that you guys have without going crazy with spending ads. Does that sound good? Let me know in the chat box if that sounds good there. And we will be getting started in just a moment. We got a lot of people, more people coming in. I love when we do these things and more people keep showing up. It just shows that people are really active. And sometimes when we do these things, like depending on the day and the time, we're always, if we don't do it on a Thursday and like a Thursday at 8 o'clock, which is our normal time, Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern, then it's yeah, absolutely. I said it's going to be a short presentation. You'll see that, watch. All right. So Willie is in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Willie, I saw you the other day too, so good to see you back again. I'm going to jump into this. So what we're going to be talking about today is how to build a thriving publishing business without spending a bunch of money on advertising, right? It's always good to save. Absolutely, Brian, 100%. And some of the things that I share with you, like you're going to be really blown away by just like how easy some of this stuff is, all right? So again, you see my little notes here. I've got my notes to myself to make this a short presentation because sometimes I get really excited about this stuff. And when I have something that works really well, I want to go back and I want to share it with you guys, the community, because I know that you're going to go in, you're going to implement it, you're going to put it into place, and then you're going to share it with the others that are in the community, okay? So welcome to the webinar. So today you're going to learn 3 strategies. So 3 strategies that you can use to build a successful publishing business. And it doesn't really rely on, and it's not dependent on expensive advertising, especially nowadays. Like who here currently runs ads on Facebook or YouTube? Just put me in a chat box. And if you do, let me know what platform, which of those platforms are you running ads on? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram? Is it like, it could be that whole meta suite. So like Instagram, Facebook, it could be LinkedIn. It could be, all right, any of you guys running ads right now? So Ryan's on Facebook and IG. So if you notice, Ryan, and I don't know how long you have been running ads, but ad prices are getting up there, right? It's becoming a little bit more competitive. So prices are starting to get more expensive. So this is going to be really good for you guys that are advertising as well. So I want to ask you another question. What title would you give yourself? Think about that. Like right now, put it in the chat box. What title would you give yourself? And by title, I mean, like, do you classify yourself as a writer, as a publisher, as an influencer, as a digital content creator? as a creator, as Donnie just put into the chat box there. Thank you, Donnie. What title do you give yourself? Someone says CPC. Yeah, absolutely. The click-through rates are down, right? A bad combination. So I see Ryan says author. Someone else says writer, storyteller. I like that, Jim. Author, says Peggy. And I'm actually going to take a note with some of these because this is good stuff. Keep putting it in there. Writer and storyteller, owner and author. I like that as well. That's a good one also. What else we've got? A writer, says Margaret. I'm a creative, but don't do any right now. I'm a speaker. So a speaker, that's good as well. So that is a creative, right? So being a speaker is you're up there and you're creative and you're confident too, because most people, did you guys realize like the world's #1 fear is the fear of speaking, like public speaking? More people would rather die than to be able to do something like this or speak from the stage or speak to other individuals, right? So for me, I prefer to actually speak. I'm really good when I'm speaking from the stage and when I'm speaking in crowds and things like that. Like if it's hundreds and thousands of people, I'm not good when it's 2 or 3 or 10 or 20 people, right? So I prefer to be in speaking to many. So storyteller, owner, author, speaker, thank you. The fan says no energy. There you go, absolutely. All right, so by the end of this session, right, by the end of this training, you're going to have a clear and a very accurate roadmap that will allow you to achieve both growth and profitability using cost-effective methods to really go in and hone in and kind of reach and touch more buyers for your books, your courses, and your other digital content. It doesn't matter where you're selling it. It could be on Kindle. It could be like you're selling it over on Amazon or you're selling on Vella, right? Part of Amazon. You could be selling from your own sites, your own funnels. If you guys use like Go High Level or ClickFunnels or any of that stuff, I'm going to show you how you can go in and actively find people that want what it is that you're selling and convert those people over into buyers, right? So does that sound good? Give me a yes in the chat box if that sounds good, dear. Let me know really quickly. All right. Sue says yes. Donnie says yes. All right. So the yeses are coming in. Really, really, really cool. All right. So lots and lots and lots of yeses coming in. Who else we have? Margaret, Simeon, Debbie. Simeon, I didn't even see you sneak in there. So good to see you here as well. All right. I got Baka, who's in the waiting room. I just let her in. All right. So more people coming in here as well. Harold just came in. All right. Now, let me ask you a question. Did you know that there's lots of the world's most successful writers and authors and digital publishers and content creators, including myself, started their journey with little to no advertising budget, right? Sometimes we'll look at them and we're looking at them where they are in their journey right now, and we think that they've always been super successful. They've always had the riches. They've always been able to put, these huge budgets. But most of them, like the J.K. Rowlings and anyone that you name, for the most part, they started off with no budget or very little budget. Would you agree? Like, think about that, right? Most people, when we're looking at people, we always compare ourselves to where we're at versus where they're at, right? And very seldomly do we think, like, this person is just another person just like he's just or she's just an average person just like me. So I want you to start looking at individuals. When you look at people that are in your space, regardless of if you're a creator, you're a storyteller, you're an artist, you are a writer, you're an author, start looking at it. Yeah, absolutely, Donnie, because we want it faster, right? And that's part of it right there. That's part of a journey, right? Is we want it faster. Have any of you read the book, The Gap in the Gain by Dan Sullivan and I think Dr. Benjamin Hardy? So in it, The Gap in the Gain, Dan Sullivan talks about how oftentimes what we'll do is we'll look at where we want to go. So we're looking at the future, right? We're kind of future pacing it. And we look at where we currently are and we create this huge gap. And we're like, man, I've got so far to go. Like this is so unattainable for me. I'm never going to get there. And what we do is we start to discredit ourselves. We start to discount all of our effort. And instead, what we should be looking at is where we currently are and how far we've come. Does that make sense? Let me know in the chat box if that makes sense. When you look at where you currently are and how far you've come, regardless of how far you've come over the last year, or the last 5 years, or the last 10 years, now you have a different level of appreciation, right? There's different levels of gratitude. And with gratitude, you now are able to start to see better and better results, right? So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Like, and the thing about it is, all of us fell victim to this at some point in time, and we continue to fall victim to it unless we start to become more aware, right? Like oh my God, yes, I want to get here, but I'm also grateful for where I currently am because I've come so far. All right. And there's a lot of people that want to be where you actually are. All right. So absolutely, Ryan says easier said than done to kind of say, look, this is where I want to get. Right. So during this webinar, I'm going to share with you some of the secrets to our success. And when I say our success, I mean not only myself, but not only my team, but also community members, as well as many other individuals that are doing extremely well from the digital publishing format and the traditional publishing format that you may not even realize, right? And I'm going to show you how you can apply these same strategies to your own business. But it first starts with, I asked you at the very beginning, how do you classify yourself? And some of you said writers and authors and creators and speakers, right? Which is all right. It's all 100% right. But from now on, I want you to have an identity crisis. And what I mean by that is I want you to start also considering yourself to be a business owner, all right? A business owner. We live in the best time right now for anyone to become a business owner, especially if you're a creative person, especially if you're someone who is an author, you're a writer, you're an entrepreneur, or you want to be an entrepreneur, right? Meaning like you want to become this entrepreneur, right? The thing is, you have to start looking at everything that you do from a business standpoint. Right? It's not enough to just be a writer. It's not enough to just be an author, right? It's not enough to just be a speaker or a creator. Like you have to actually think like a business owner. Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat box if that makes sense, right? Because when you start to flip that switch, you start to look at things differently. The late Wayne Dyer, he used to say, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. When you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So I want you to start thinking about your business as just that, right? And more than just being a creator or an author or a content creator or a writer, right? Or a speaker. And this session is going to help you once you put on your business owner hat, right? So it's going to help you. So this section is packed with valuable insights that can transform your publishing business, your digital publishing business, right? Because we're now business owners, right? And then you're also going to learn actionable strategies that have been used and shown to work for myself and many others, and they can work for you as well. All right. So now what we're looking at is we're looking at ourselves as a business owner. We're going to take these strategies and we're going to apply them from the business standpoint. So my name is Ty Cohen. If you guys are not aware of me, who here has not heard of me before? Put me in a chat box if you have never heard of me before, right? So I have over 20 years of experience publishing books and courses and trainings, and I help people to publish digital content online and also help people to make money online. And I'm qualified to do so because I've made millions and millions and millions of dollars online myself, right? So I've been in the trenches. I've worked with people of all types, all backgrounds, all ethnicities, right? Just a huge variety, all ages. And I like to have fun when I'm training people because, I think it just makes it a little bit easier. I've helped numerous authors and publishers achieve their goals without breaking the bank on ad. All right. So without breaking the bank on ads. All right. Now, today I'm here to share some of these strategies with you so that you can achieve similar success. Does that sound good? Let me know in the chat box if that sounds good. Give me a yes if that sounds good. All right. Just give me a yes if that sounds good. All right. Very cool. So now imagine I want you to use your creative hat. And we've got a lot of creators here. So imagine having this thriving publishing business. You have a loyal audience and you have steady sales, all without spending a fortune on ads. If someone would have told me that this was possible when I was first starting out, or even maybe, to be honest with you, 5 or 10 years into, being a business owner, being a creative, I would have thought that it was impossible, to be honest with you. Like having this loyal following, a loyal audience, and steady sales. And there's several ways that you do that. The first is understanding who your audience is, right? So, and we're going to talk about that as well. So understanding who your audience, and when you get there, then it becomes a lot easier. So by implementing the strategies that we're going to cover today, you can reach this level of success and enjoy the benefits of a sustainable business. Does that sound good? Right? And that's what you want. Like you don't want a business where there's ups and downs, so there's major fluctuations. Now, in most businesses, you're going to see fluctuations, but you want this consistency. Right. And with what I'll show you today, you'll be able to obtain that consistency. So here's the advertising challenge here. The common belief is that most digital publishers, and when I say digital publishers, I'm talking the entire gambit, right? Authors, writers, content creators, influencers. Most digital publishers think a massive advertising budget is essential for success. And I want to be honest here. Who here, put a one in the chat box if you've ever thought this before. If you've ever thought, like, I have to have all of this money to be able to put into advertising and marketing in order to be successful. And again, we're being totally transparent. We're not judging you or anything. I just want to get a gauge and see who here kind of thought that. Because again, I thought the same thing, right? You look at other people and you're like, oh my gosh, like there's no way that you could do this if you don't have these huge budgets. Now, that's a myth. So this is a misconception here. We're going to break down this myth, right? We're going to break it down in multiple ways so that you totally see that this is a myth. So the goal of this webinar is to really disprove this myth, right? To debunk it and to get it out of here. So the way that you have success in anything is you look at what are your core beliefs? Like, what are some of the things that are holding you back? And then you question those things. Like, you question, number one, why am I thinking this? Where did this belief come from? How is it serving me right now? And does it benefit me? Right? So why am I thinking this? Where did I get this belief from? How is it serving me? And is it doing any good at all? Right? Because oftentimes we'll have these beliefs where we picked up. Sometimes we can pick them up from parents. We can pick them up from just society in general. We can pick them up from coworkers, from peers, right? We can pick them up from the internet. Nowadays, you can pick beliefs up everywhere. Beliefs that don't serve you, false beliefs, limiting beliefs that don't serve you, right? So the promise here is to reveal strategies and tactics for thriving in publishing without spending a ton of money on advertising. So the one thing, right? So the key to success, and I was kind of talking about this earlier, is the key to success in digital publishing is pretty much honing in on these cost-effective organic methods to build your business, right? So to do this, I'm going to share 3 strategies with you. Strategy number 1, and this is, I think most of you guys are really good at this, right? And that is to make awesome stuff that people will actually want to buy. I'm going to add 3 dots to the end of that, right? Make awesome stuff that people will actually want to buy, ... and get out of your head. Past the stages of being a perfectionist. Get past the stages of being paralyzed by it having to be great. Most of what you're creating already is very good, right? So just getting past that stage of thinking that you're not enough. How many people have ever thought that? Like, how many people, number one, just think that their content is not good enough, whether it's a book, whether it's a digital course, whether it's just content that you're sharing in a blog format, whether it's content that you're sharing in a social media format. How many people think that your content is not good enough? It could be videos, right? It could be posts. Number 2, how many people have ever suffered from imposter syndrome? And then how many people, and if you fall into any of these buckets, I want you to put a me in the chat box, all right? This is a little therapy session right here. How many people think that what it is that you're creating won't be good enough for someone to exchange cash or a card for the value that you're giving them, right? That is almost everyone. Almost everyone, including myself. No one gets away from this, right? You look at people that are in a totally different stratosphere, right? The entertainers, the athletes. You look at people that are politicians. You look at people that are at next level levels, and they suffer from this. It never goes away. The way you deal with it is just realizing that it is a human trait, right? You're human. Be glad to be human and understand that it's never, ever going to go away. Does that make sense? Give me a yes in the chat box if that makes sense. Now, once you realize that it's never going to go away, you move past it. Every time I get on stage to speak, I get the butterflies, right? I get afraid, even doing things like this, right? I've done these things a gazillion times. I can't even count how many times I've done them, literally thousands of times. But what happens is because the entire purpose of our mind, our brain, is to protect us, we'll get these signals. Well, what if you say something wrong? What if you've got typos in your content? What if you're going after the wrong market? What if you're pricing it too wrong? What if your cover is wrong? What if your description, right? All of these what ifs, and they paralyze you. So I want you to declare right now that you will start paying attention to when that happens. You know, one of my favorite books is, and let me know if you've ever read this book. It's Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. How many people have ever heard of that book? If you ever go get it, right? Don't read it, like listen to the audio. So it's Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. And in it, Napoleon Hill, author of a book, Think and Grow Rich, surely enough you guys have heard of that one, right? Who has ever heard of Outwitting the Devil? In it, Napoleon Hill is having a conversation with the devil, right? Yeah, that's why that's why you have to, it is a tough read. That's why you have to listen to it, right? Because there's a little bit of entertainment and education in it. So it's like edutainment. But in it, Napoleon Hill is having a conversation with the devil, and the devil is telling him about all these ways and all of the tricks that he gets people to be limited, not limitless, limited in their potential. And I'm not going to go through the entire book with you, but one of the strategies that the devil uses is he uses something called resistance, right? So resistance. So whenever you go in and you set these goals, we all set these goals, we all have these dreams and these desires. And what the devil's mission is to do is he'll put this resistance in place. And resistance comes in so many different forms, right? It might be the resistance of thinking that you're not good enough. It might be the resistance of imposter syndrome. It might be the resistance of I'm not smart enough. It might be resistance in the form of thinking I'm too old. My time has come. I'm too young. I don't know enough. I don't have the right connections. I'm not technical, right? It might be in the form of when you get up to go do something, you feel this tiredness that comes over you. How many people have ever heard any of these? We've got a crazy storm outside too, so hopefully the internet or the power is not affected here, right? Resistance comes in so many different, depression, yeah, that could be a form of it, right? So one of the ways that you get past this is you start to be aware, right? Like I've got a resistance meter on my phone. So whenever I've got something that I'm going to do and I know that it's going to move the needle and I start to feel resistance, I'm like, oh my God, maybe I should go on YouTube. That's a form of resistance. Maybe I should go on Facebook. That's a form of resistance. Maybe I should check my email. Maybe I should get on a phone. Maybe I should start texting or responding to those texts or the messages or the emails that I should have responded to. All of those are forms of resistance. Things that get you to move away from the thing that you should be doing. All right? Let me know if that makes sense. So next time, start paying attention to all of the different forms of resistance that come into play whenever you need to be doing something, you're not doing it. And then I want you to counter that with working on your discipline. Right? Playing video games, that's a big one right there. Absolutely. Right? So counter that with working on your discipline. So for me, the definition of, I've got two definitions of discipline that I like to use. The first is doing the things that you know you should be doing, even when you don't want to do them. Doing the things that you know you should be doing, even when you don't want to do them. Right? So that's my first definition of discipline that I use for myself. The second one, and this is something that you guys can benefit from as well, right? Because as business owners, as creatives, as writers, right? As influencers, everything that's going to move the needle the most, the things that are going to move the needle for you the most, that are going to give you the most results, that are going to help you to see the success that you want the most, is the stuff that's the most boring to you. All of the stuff that you don't want to do is hidden behind this wall of success. Most of the stuff that you don't want to do is hidden behind this wall. So my second definition of discipline is doing the things that you don't like doing, but you know that you should do as if you love doing them. Does that make sense? So doing the things that you don't feel like doing, but you know that you should do them as though you love doing them. So I'll give you an example. So this morning, I woke up and I had a kind of a late night last night. Me and my wife were waiting for my daughter to get home. She had gone out with a couple of her friends. And so I had a late night, woke up really early. And my mission was to go to the gym. Do you think I wanted to go to the gym? And the mission was to go to the gym super early so that I can get back and finish working on this presentation that I'm giving you right now. So I get up this morning, and what do you think hits me? Put it in the chat box. Who's the first person who gets this? What do you think hits me? Put it in the chat box. Not once, but twice. Resistance. Right? Some of you guys got it right. It's a turnover. Fatigue. I should sleep in. I deserve to sleep in. Why do I have to go to the gym? The gym is dumb. Right? So all of these different things. I went to the gym yesterday. Resistance. Someone says the gym is very dumb. All right. But I got up. I recognized it as resistance. Got up. Now, here's what happens here. The more that you do this, the more that you fight against resistance in a healthy way, though. I'm not telling you to do something that's unhealthy. So if you're sick or we're all grown folks here, right? We have common sense. But the more that you work on your resistance muscle, the easier it gets. Do you know that there's the name of it is escaping me right now, but there's a part in our brain, there's an area in our brain, and it's going to come to me, right? I was just studying this a couple of weeks ago with a couple of friends. There's an area in our brain that the more we do something that we don't want to do, the easier it gets to do those things the next time they come up, right? So the more that we condition ourselves to do things that we don't want to do, the easier those things get to be. And it could be something totally new, or it could be something that is, it'd be foreign, or it could be something that we're used to doing, right? But by the same token, the less we work on pushing ourselves a little bit to do the things that we don't want to do, the more that part of our brain makes it harder for us to do anything that now comes across us that we don't want to do. Right? So start challenging yourselves. Little things, start to notice, right? You'll work on this muscle and it becomes easier and easier and easier. That's one of the secrets to be massively successful right there. Right? Successful people learn to do the things that they don't want to do, right? Because they know that they should. And oftentimes they'll do them in a way that they like. All right. So strategy number one, make awesome stuff that people will actually want to buy and get past all of the resistance, get past the imposter syndrome, get past the perfectionist, right? The perfectionism. So has anyone here ever heard the saying quality over quantity? Now, this is super important for your books, your courses, and everything else, right? So sometimes we'll go and we'll say, I want to throw out a ton of different books. And we actually teach a strategy here in the Kindle Cashflow program where we do teach a strategy, right? It's actually our series strategy where we teach you how to go in and launch a bunch of books in a series. But what I'm talking about is totally different here. It's quality over quantity in a sense where you're putting out good stuff that people actually will feel good about buying. Who here has ever bought something, right? And then even like a year later, you still feel good about that buy, right? You're like, oh my God, that was a good buy. Regardless of the price, you just feel good. And then there's other things that you could buy. And then a week later, you're like, oh, I could have done without this, right? So this is where you want your customers to be with you. You want them to actually feel good because they bought your stuff. And that starts with making awesome stuff that people will actually want to buy, right? So again, books, mini courses, and everything else can fall under this umbrella. You can do this. So to have a successful digital publishing business, like you really have to create stuff that people actually want to read, that they actually want to buy, that they actually want to go in and use and implement and get results from, right? So does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Put a yes in the chat box if that makes sense, right? So this means really, literally like figuring out what your readers like and giving that thing to them exactly. So again, in the KCF program, and this is not about the KCF program, but in the KCF program, like the Kindle Cashflow program, we actually talk about market research. If you're publishing Kindle books or you're publishing books in general or audiobooks or Vella, like there's a system that you should be using to make sure that you're going through market research and you're finding out the things that people actually want to buy, what they're paying for, what they're happy to go in and buy and receive, right? So strategy number one is make awesome stuff that people will actually want to buy. So here's how to make awesome content. Know your audience, right? So know your audience. If you were to ask me right here, my audience on this event right here, I pretty much know that the majority of our audience are women, right? It's like 60% women or so, 45 and up. Most are located in the US, followed by Canada, then Australia, then the UK, then Austria, and then scattered all over the place. So it's knowing your audience. So thinking about who would like literally enjoy your books. Like, what do they look like? Like, what's their age? Like, what's their gender? What's their ethnicity? And I know with our audience, like we have a varied ethnicity, right? We've got people from all backgrounds here. All shapes, all colors, all sizes, all ethnicities, all religious and political beliefs as well, right? Which is cool because we have this nice melting pot. But for your audience, like you can't be extremely broad. Like you want to know, who are they? What are they interested in? What are some of the other people that they follow? Who here saw the survey that we released? We released a survey maybe about 2 weeks ago. And on this survey, we just have 3 questions. One of the questions was, who else in this space do you follow? Why do we ask you that on a survey? Why would we ask you that? So we said, who else do you follow? That was one of the questions. The other question was, what are some of the other products that you've purchased, not from us, outside of us? Why would we ask you that? Well, the reason why is because we want to know who else is out there. Like, of course, we know who our competitors are, right? But there may be new people that are coming into the space, like new people that's coming into the market that we might not know of. So that gives us this chance to keep our finger on the pulse of our industry and people that are out there, people that our clients and our customers are buying from, right? And you guys can do that. You can do it easily. You can go and you can use something like Zoho Surveys, which is ZOHO survey. You put together a survey, you send it out to your email list, even if you have a smaller email list of 10, 20, 30 people, right? You can post it in some groups. Make sure you don't violate any group terms or anything like that or rules. And you find out who your audience is. You can ask them what's their age so that you understand the medium age of your audience. You can ask them what their gender is. You can ask them what are they most like. How did I start this training off just now? I asked you guys, how do you title yourself, right? That's all collecting data. So do you see how you get to know your audience? And the more you get to know your audience, the better you can what? You can talk to them. Right? So what problems do they have? What kind of stories do they like? What type of content do they like? Where are they right now? Right? So all of these things will help you out. Right? So now the next thing is, here's how you make awesome content continued, right? So you do your homework. So before you start writing, before you start creating content, research your topic. So find out all of the important details so that you can teach your readers something new. And it doesn't have to be a lot. You just have to be 1% ahead of your readers. That's it. Doesn't take a lot to do that. Right? That's it. Just 1% ahead of your readers. Right? The other way is to just keep it coming. Like once you start publishing, don't stop. This is something where I see people make a big mistake here. They lack in consistency. And this happens with writers. It happens with influencers. It happens with content creators, right? They'll go and they'll be on this tear and they're just going and going and going, and then they stop. They get distracted. Resistance might hit them. They might get taken off course by shiny object syndrome. How many people have ever fallen victim to any of these? Life might start lifing. Right? Because life doesn't ever, it never stops lifing. And they stop. And they stop once they start to build momentum. A good book on this is 3 Feet from Gold. You guys have not read that. 3 Feet from Gold, right? Once you start to build the momentum, which is the most difficult part, do not stop. And the best way to prevent yourself from stopping is to have stuff that's banked, right? You're going to have these periods in your life where you have some free time, and the most of it is you're not going to have free time. So when you have that free time, you double down on it. I've got another presentation that I'm going to be sharing with you. And guess what I'm creating in that presentation? I've got a little bit of free time tomorrow, this window. I'm going to be doubling down on that. My publishing business, my Kindle publishing business, right? I've got a window on Wednesday. I'm going to be doubling down on extra content there, fiction and nonfiction. So your readers will always want more. Your customers will always want more. And it's up to you to make sure that you serve them, right? This is a totally new presentation. And we've got people on here because it's something new, right? You guys always want more. So the best way to do this is you make a schedule, you stick to it, you put it on your calendar, and you make sure that it becomes a priority. Anything that I put on my calendar becomes a priority, unless there's an emergency, unless Murphy, rears his head, unless life starts lifing. Other than that, it's on my calendar and nothing moves it. It becomes a priority, right? So if you keep publishing content, keep releasing new content, it's going to keep your readers excited. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense in the chat box, guys. And that's the number one thing that keeps people away from really hitting these levels of success. It's because of the inconsistency. Now, it becomes extremely, if you get good at this, you now become part of a 2%. It becomes extremely easy to beat your competition just by getting better at being consistent. All right? So we'll talk about this, like we talk about this entire process in the Interstellar Launch section of the Kindle Cashflow course. We talk about the consistency. How do you launch consistently? Boom, 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 boom. And Danielle, I think you're in that program. Who is in the KCF program, right? For those of you that are in the KCF program, make sure you go through the Interstellar Launch section of it. That's one of the hidden jewels there, where we show you how to be consistent. All right. Focus on quality content. So creating awesome stuff is literally like this foundation of a successful digital publishing business. So if your books and if your courses are well written and give readers something valuable, then I want to share them with their friends. And this gets you more readers without spending money. It's word of mouth. How many people I've mentioned 2 or 3 books to you guys so far, right? How many people are saying, look, I'm gonna go get the book that Ty mentioned. I'm gonna go get The Gap in the Gain by Dan Sullivan. Or I'm gonna go reread Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. Right? Donnie says I wrote them down. So you see how that works out? Right? So these people will start telling their friends. They'll tell their family. Danielle says me, I've been writing them down, right? They'll tell their communities. They'll tell their reader groups. But this only happens if you're, number one, creating good content, and number 2, you're consistent in doing that. Jim Stokes says, I wrote them down to search Amazon later. All right? Does that make sense? Like the consistency in creating good content. That right there gives you this organic flow of traffic. And to be honest with you, the organic flow of traffic, word of mouth, someone telling someone about your book, your course, your content is much more valuable than someone seeing an ad on Facebook. Someone seeing a YouTube video ad. Someone seeing your ad on Instagram or Pinterest or LinkedIn. Because there's credibility in the individual that shared that with them. Most people, when they see an ad, there's going to be these barriers, right? There's this level of skepticism that's there. But if someone went in, Jim Stokes or Danielle, if your best friend or your brother or your sister or your mother or your dad said, you know what, I just ate at this restaurant, the food is incredible. I just read this book, the book is amazing. You're more inclined to go in and seek it out just because you got that referral from someone that you know, like, and trust. Right? And that's one of the best ways to generate traffic there. Right? So now here's that myth, right? In order to build a thriving digital publishing business, you need to spend a bunch of money on advertising. That myth has been busted because you don't need to do that. Right? You create good content, you're consistent in your content, and people will find out about it. Right? So that's one of them. So No money, no problem, myth busted right there. People think that you need tons of money for ads to make it big in publishing, and that is not true. That's the furthest thing from the truth at all, right? The truth is awesome content is literally like a magnet for readers. So when you write books and you create these courses that are helpful and interesting, people will naturally want to read them. And they will go in and they will buy over and over and over. I see it myself. Many of you guys that are on here, you've bought things over and over and over and over from us because the content is good. And we're consistent. So I'm not just talking about theory here. This is stuff that we actually practice. Right? We're putting out good content, but we're consistently doing it. When you do this, people will even tell their friends, they'll tell their family members, they'll tell other people, right, that they're in these communities with. And this way you can get lots of readers without spending any money on those crazy ads that are out there. All right. So know your audience, just to wrap it up again. Do your homework, right? And keep it coming. So know your audience. Who are they? What do they want? What age group are they? Are they primarily men or women, right? Where do they primarily reside? Who else do they buy from? What have they purchased that's similar to yours lately? And then doing your homework, right? Consistently doing this stuff, doing it over and over and over again. And then keeping it coming, consistency in the production of what you're putting out there. All right. Now, the second strategy is show off your fans. So did you know that more people are likely to buy something if they see other people enjoying it? It's very interesting in the way that humans work, right? If they see someone else enjoying something, and I'll give you an example of this. How many times have you driven by a restaurant and the parking lot was like packed, like it was jam-packed? And you say to yourself, even if you don't verbally say it out loud, right? You made a mental note like, oh my God, I wonder what do they sell? Like, I got to go there one day. You've probably done that more often than you remember or even, realize. By the same token, how many times can you remember driving by a restaurant that had an empty parking lot, maybe one or two cars in it, and you didn't make a mental note, like you didn't say, I have to go there, right? So when people see other people purchasing or enjoying or, literally taking something in, they want to be part of that experience as well, right? They want to be part of it. Donnie says, plus you over deliver. Thank you, Donnie. I appreciate that. Love it. Right? Yeah, you're less likely to remember it, Daniel. Absolutely. Right? Now, this happens all the time with books and courses as well. So when your readers tell other people how much they love your stories, how much they love your content, right? It makes them want to check you out too. Right? This is called social proof. And it's a extremely powerful way to sell more without spending a penny. It's an extremely powerful way to get more people in. Social proof, right? Which is huge. Now, here's some cool ways to use social proof. The first is show off your reviews. Like, you guys should be categorizing and keeping a record of all of the reviews that you ever get for anything that you ever create. Whether it's on Amazon, whether it's on your own site, whether it's on an affiliate site, right? You should be keeping a record of all of this stuff. So if someone left a nice comment, like on your website, or they sent you a nice comment by email or by Facebook Messenger, right? Or IG, they sent you a DM, share it, post it on your social media, put it on the back of your next book, put it in your sales copy. Make sure you get their permission or make sure you let them know, right? But you share that because that's creating social proof there. If you look at some of the webinars that we do, sometimes I'll ask you guys, hey, leave a testimonial. And you got to be bold about it. Hey, what are your thoughts on this? Do you mind saying something nice? Do you mind if I share this? Most people, I've never had someone say no when I ask that question. Not at all, right? Most people want to give back, right? So Robert Cialdini in his book, The Power of Influence, he talks about the law of reciprocation and how powerful reciprocation is. You do something nice for someone, they're more than likely, they want to go out of their way to do something nice for you. No one wants to be that freeloader, right? Think about this, imagine you ever go through like a set of double doors, right? You've got a door here and then you've got another door. You go hold the door for someone that's coming in, they're more than likely going to go in and kind of race to get that other door and hold the door for you. It's the law of reciprocity. So people want to go in and they want to reciprocate. So when you start asking people, especially if you got good content, you got good courses and good books and stuff that's out there, and you say, hey, do you mind leaving me a testimonial? People want to reciprocate. And that's the only way that they know how to reciprocate outside of buying your stuff. So the first way that they know is they know how to go in and spend, and they buy more stuff. It's the unconscious law of reciprocation. And the second way is by leaving a testimonial, right? But you have to ask them. You have to make it easy for them, right? So the other way that you can do this stuff is show off your fans, right? So chat with your readers. So ask your followers on social media, ask your readers, what do they think of your books? What do they think of your courses? Let them know that you care about their opinions. And most people don't mind sharing their opinions with you. All right. Now, here's another way that you can do this. Tell success stories. So if your book helps someone in a big way, ask if you can share their story. Oftentimes we'll get, Coach Caroline is a good example of that, right? So when she first came into the community, she talked about how it helped, being part of a Kindle Cashflow program helped her to get to a point where she's now able to take care of her mom and be there and have the freedom to do things. And she eventually was able to quit her job and all this other stuff. And I'm like, hey, Caroline, I'd love to interview you. Let's talk about the results, how you've been able to do all of this stuff as a result of the Kindle Cashflow program. And what do you think she said? Yes. Right? So if you have something that has helped someone in a major way, ask them, hey, look, how has it helped you? And do you mind if you share your story a little bit with me? And if I could share that with my audience? And most people will say yes. 99.9% of them will say yes, all right? Because this just shows how awesome your stuff is. And it makes people want to read them even more. When people see that, when they hear about these stories, how many people know Coach Sue or Coach Jawar or Coach Caroline or Coach Rodney or Willie or Coach Willie or any of the people that are in our community here? And you know a little bit about their story, and their story kind of pushed you to want to get more involved, right? That's exactly how it works. So everything that I'm sharing with you guys is stuff that we actually use, all right? So take note. Now here's the thing. So now that I'm sharing this with you, you're going to become more aware of it. As you start to see different things, you'll start to become more aware of it, right? It's like going in and buying a car that you didn't notice before, and now you go and you buy this car and you start to see them all over the place, right? All right, so there you go. All right. So leverage that social proof. Reviews. You can do this with testimonials. Stories from happy readers can make you look more trustworthy and bring in more readers, right? Because again, people are always skeptical, especially if they haven't done business with you the first time. Ask your satisfied readers and customers to share their good experiences, all right? They'll share those with these people, their friends. They'll share them with their family. They'll share them with their communities. They'll share them with their reader groups, all right? So here's another myth that's been busted. In order to build a thriving digital publishing business, you need to spend a bunch of money on advertising. No, there's all these ways that we can get people to start to share. We can use social proof. We can ask people for reviews and testimonials, right? We can ask them to share with other people that they know, family members, community members, right? So myth busted there, all right? So now to recap here, people think that you need to buy expensive ads to get people to trust you as an author, which is not true, right? There's always a much easier way. Always a much easier way. So instead of paying for ads, show off your fans, show off people that are customers, show off people that are readers, right? Engage with those people so that they more likely get to know you and they're more open to kind of reciprocating, right? So when people see that others love your books, they'll start to trust you and they want to check out your stories too. So this is 100% free advertising, 100%. One of the reasons why we have a Facebook group, well, there's multiple reasons why we have a Facebook group, right? It helps you guys. It helps you to have a place where you can go in and you can ask questions, you can get answers. But also when you see people post their results, does that make you feel good? Does it give you like a boost? Does it let you know that it's possible for you? Absolutely, right? That's free advertising there. So it's free advertising. And this is stuff that when I first started that community, guess how many people I started it with? Who here wants to guess? How many people do you think I started the Facebook group with initially? Someone says 11. Is that an 11 there? I think. Sue, it looks like you got it. Sue has it. I started it with one person. Now we're almost at 20,000. We're like at 18,000 right now. So, but I started it with one person. Who do you think that one person was? Who do you think that one person was? Who gets it first? It was me. Absolutely. Yes. No, it wasn't even Jawar. Jawar was probably like number 70, maybe. But it was me. So every single one of you can do this. There's nothing different about me that you don't have, right? You guys have, I mean, if anything, it's probably easier for you now. Because at that time, I didn't have a manual, right? I didn't have a Ty Cohen sharing this stuff with me. I didn't have YouTube. I didn't have, at least to a degree now, right? So it's easier for you guys, right? So go in and do a lot of this stuff. But I'm actually going to talk about that in a bit more. So show off your reviews. Right? Don't be humble when you get this stuff. When people tell you good things, believe them. And then ask them, hey, can I share this with other people? You said this about my book. You said this about my course. This is amazing. Can I go share this with other people? Right? Chat with your readers. Get to know your readers. Right? I see so many of you here that I feel like I kind of know you, right? Victor. I see Danielle on here. Jim Stokes. Right? Just a ton of people. And I'm missing out on a lot of people I know. I see William, right? When I saw William earlier, I said, William, I just saw you a couple of days ago. But that only happens when you get to know your community. You get to know your readers. You get to know your clients. You get to know your customers, right? They should not be a number. It should not just be another person that's coming in and buying from you, right? I know Danielle is up in Groton, Connecticut. We had that rapport there. I'm from Bridgeport, Connecticut. Right? So you get to know people. And now, guess what? Those people will be with you forever because you genuinely care. And it doesn't take anything to genuinely care. It doesn't take anything at all. Right? Tell success stories. So again, talk about, this book, this course has helped this person. I just talked about that with Caroline, right? How it's helped her to have more freedom and time with her mom. How it's helped her to quit her job, right? How it's helped her to now serve this community. She was a student who bought the course, and now she's a coach who's helping other people in the community. Do you see how that happens? Right? So that's by me telling her success story when she was reluctant to do so initially. And there's so many other people. Coach Sue, you look at, again, Jawar, you look at Zoltan, who's traveling the world right now, right? So there's so many people that came from this community, and I'm like, dude, or I'm like, hey, we need to share your story. Strategy number 3, make friends, not just fans. So this kind of piggybacks off of what I was just talking about. Making friends, right? Making friends. I feel like a lot of you guys are my friends. Right? And I think that this is where a lot of course creators, a lot of authors make a mistake. I think when they look at people that buy from them, that person is just a number. It's just a faceless individual, right? That's it. But I'm asking you, if you start to make a difference, you start to spend a little bit of time to kind of remember people's names. And for me, that's, there's so many people, right? But it becomes easier. You start to make fans. You start to make friends. All right? So you want readers who are super fans, not just casual fans. You make them feel like they're part of your crew because they are. Right? Being authentic, being genuine with that. Right? Now, the other way is don't just talk at your readers, like talk with them. Sometimes I think when people get to be certain levels, they start to get big-headed. They start to get, they think that they're all that, and then they forget. So they start to talk at their customers and their clients and their readers. You want to talk with them. Be part of the conversation and let them be part of a conversation. Does that make sense? Because this is big right here. Does that make sense? Let me know if that makes sense. Give me a yes in the chat box if that, just that right there. Like not just having a customer or a reader, but getting to know those individuals, right? Chatting on social media or sending out fun emails is another great way to get to know your readers and make them feel like part of a club. As you're building up your email reader list, and every single person that's watching this, regardless of what you're selling, you should have an email list. Almost every single one of you heard about this event by email, right? So every single one of you should have a way, and yes, Instagram and DMs and everything else, that's fine, right? Building up your subscribers is fine. Having a bunch of likes and followers is fine, but you also want to have that email address. Every single person should be working on, you should consistently be working on building up your email address. And what happens is you're going there, as you start to send emails out, you'll have some people that will reply back to you. And all it takes is you replying back to them. People will start to reply back to you talking about, oh my God, I really love that email. What you wrote in that really impacted me. Or I just went through that. Oh my God, the character in your book, I can really relate to her. Right? So making sure that you stay in touch with your readers. Donnie just says, all Taylor Swift fans feel she has a direct relationship with them and that she is authentic. Yes, Taylor Swift, like her or hate her or not, she's mastered this. And she's mastered it on a global scale. Right? My daughter is a Taylor Swift fan. She's mastered it on a huge scale. So if someone at that level can do this, who has like tens of millions of fans, we can all do this as well. All right. So thank you for pointing that out, Donnie. She's really terrific. She's great at doing that. All right. Now, the other thing is when readers feel like they're your friends, guess what? They'll want to support you by buying your stuff, your courses, and everything else, right? They'll tell other people about you. All of this stuff is super simple to do, folks. Right? So make friends, not just fans. Now, here's how to turn readers into fans, friends, and supporters. Chat it up. Talk to your readers on social media. Ask them questions. Share funny memes. Generally treat them like your friends. Sam Cunningham, who's in the community, I don't know if you guys know him or not, but Sam Cunningham is a musician. He plays bass guitar. He's a chef. He works at a restaurant. He actually works at 2 different restaurants. And he sent me a message. Him and I have been going back and forth on Facebook. He sent me a message. He's like, hey, Ty, can I interview you on my podcast? He's starting up a brand new podcast. He's like, I want to interview you. Are you open to being interviewed on? And I think at first he sent me Tuesday, and Tuesdays are really super, super, super busy for me because that's when we have all of our team meetings and things like that. But I'm like, hey, Sam, can't do it Tuesday, but how about Wednesday? Now, he only reached out to me because he's a part of a community. He started off by being a customer. I continue to treat him as a friend, genuinely doing this. We've built up this relationship over the years. He turns into a super fan, a friend, and a supporter. And now he's comfortable enough to say, hey, Ty, I'd love to have you on my podcast. I'm just starting this thing out. Would you be guest number 1 or 2 or number 3? I don't know if I'm guest number 1. My ego is saying maybe I'm guest number 1. But do you see how that works? Like every single one of us could do this. Super easy to do. Let me know if you see how that works, right? It's just taking time to respond back to people. That's all it is. All right? Send cool emails. This is one of my favorite here, right? So give your readers something special like a sneak peek at new stories, behind the scenes looks, or even contests. Let them know what are some of the things that's going on in your life. Like if you got a birthday coming up, talk about your birthday, right? You can do this even if you have a pen name, even if you're writing under a different name or you're creating content under a different name, right? You could use real actual events that are taking place in your life and you can share them with your fans, your readers, your customers using your pen name. If you've got a birthday coming up, say, hey, my birthday's coming up. I'm going to turn XYZ and I'm going to go to this restaurant, right? Oh, by the way, if you haven't picked up my course yet, here's the link where you can go and get it. Here's what it's going to teach you, XYZ. Or by the way, if you haven't picked up my book yet, here's where you can go get it. And if you already have it, please go back and visit and leave a review. So you see how you can double down on some of this stuff? It makes it super simple. the important part here is letting people into your life to a degree. Right? The holidays coming up. What are you going to do on the holidays, right? Sending an email out to your list. Be creative with this stuff. People will live vicariously through you. And don't think that your life is boring, because most people have things that are going on that other people don't have going on. So if you've got something that you're doing for the holiday that's coming up, right? If you've got something that you've got a birthday that's coming up, you're releasing a new book or a new course, even if it's not out yet, send them an email. Hey, look, just want to stay in contact with you. Here's what I'm working on. This is the third book of my installment. I'm kind of debating between this title, this title, and this title. Which one do you like the best? Reply back. 1, 2, or 3. Right? Jimmy says, how do I make an email list? Jimmy, if you want to learn about that, and if anyone else wants to learn about that, maybe I'll do a specific training on how to build out an email list. Right? Make a group. So I just talked about the Facebook group, right? When I first started this Facebook group, it was one person. You can make a Facebook group. You can use an online book club where your readers can kind of talk to one another, share their excitement about your books. This is becoming easier and easier and easier to do, right? Where you can go and you can start a Facebook group. As a matter of fact, if you want, you can start your own community. I've got so we use a software to build out all of our communities, to build out our courses, our members areas, to build out our digital content. And if anyone wants to go in and try it out for free, you can go over to KindleCashflow. I think it's KindleCashflow.com/AMS. So if someone can put that in the chat box to help everyone else out. But this is a software that will allow you to go in and build out a community, right? So it's KindleCashflow.com/A as in automatic, M as in marketing, S as in systems. All right, so I give you a ton of stuff with that too, like funnels, and I give you all of my email templates and SMS text message templates. But that's not what this training is about. But I just wanted to share that with you because it's an easy way to build up a list. Someone was just asking me, how do you build a list? Well, the first is having a way for your list to go in and or people that are interested in joining your list to enter their name and their email address. All right, so there you go. Right, a lot of people would like to learn about email list building. So we can definitely do that. So we'll do that, right? So start a Facebook group, use the automatic marketing system over at KindleCashflow.com/AMS to help you build out your list, to start capturing those names, those email addresses, and SMS, text message, phone numbers that you can use, right? And we actually show you how to do this with the Kindle Cashflow Facebook group. Like, this is where we actually do this, right? And if you're not part of a Facebook group, you can join over at KindleCashflow.com/FB. Right? So focusing on quality content. So when people feel like they belong, they'll more than likely stick around, and then they'll tell their friends about your stuff, and then they'll buy everything that you release. Right? This is where you start to hit this different level. But it starts by you just making the decision to get started with it. All right? So again, another myth busted, right? In order to build a thriving digital publishing business, you need to spend a bunch of money on advertising. No, that's not the truth there. Right? There's so many different ways that you could do this. I just gave you a ton of different ways that you could do this, right? So you don't have to pay to play now. People think the only way to get readers excited is to throw money at ads. Not true. There's going to be two different types of people. There's going to be people that have more time than money, right? And then if that's you, this is great. Like, everything that I give you here, these 3 strategies are directly for you. And then there's people who have more money than where we've got less time and more money. But regardless of what group you fall into, every single person should be using the 3 strategies that I just gave you. All right. So building a community doesn't have to cost a thing. Right? Super cheap. Anyone can go over to Facebook and they can start a group. They can start a Facebook page, right? You could use the automatic marketing system, the software that we use, by going to KindleCashflow.com/AMS if you wanted to use that. Right? It's about giving your readers something cool and fun to do. Right? So focusing on quality content. You do that by chatting it up with them, making sure that you're responding to them, you're sending cool emails, you're letting them into your life, you're talking about what it is that you're doing, some of your goals, your ambitions, upcoming releases, stuff that you currently have, asking them for testimonials and feedback, right? Asking them for their opinion. When I first published my book, Kindle Publishing Secrets, I had 7 different covers. I kind of asked you guys that were around at that time, which cover do you like best? And that's how we got to the cover that we use, right? So your audience, they'll love to give you feedback. And then last but not least, make a group. right? So these things have helped me and others. Now that we've explored a bunch of different strategies to kind of like really build out a thriving business, right, on the publishing side without having these hefty advertising costs, I want to introduce you to an event and a community gathering that can help you to learn additional strategies like these and more, right? So it's KCF Live, Kindle Cashflow Live. Who here has ever joined us at Kindle Cashflow Live? Put a yes in the chat box if you've ever joined us at Kindle Cashflow Live here. All right, Victor says yes, Margaret says yes, and Harris says, a lot of people saying yes there, right? Jennifer, absolutely. Jennifer, I know you've been at a lot of KCF Lives, right? So Kindle Cashflow Live is literally our 3-day, it's our virtual event for authors, writers, content creators, digital publishers, coaches, influencers, and just people looking to start an online business and everyone else, right? It takes place over the course of 3 days. It's live on Zoom, just like this, but we have a lot more people, right? We have a lot of speakers as well on different topics. Coach Caroline will be speaking there as well. Coach Willie will be there. And it takes place this year, Friday, June 28th, Saturday, June 29th, and Sunday, June 30th. It's going to be really cool. So Kindle Cashflow Live, like every single person, regardless of where you're at, regardless if you're publishing books, creating digital content, you're an influencer, whether you're someone who, you know, you don't even know what you want to be right now. Like you're like, when I grow up, I'm going to do XYZ as soon as I find out what XYZ is, right? That's where I'm at. I'm like, well, as soon as I find out what XYZ is, that's what I'm going to grow up and do. But being at Kindle Cashflow Live will help you to kind of figure out what your passions are a little bit more. It'll help you to figure out, you know, what you should be doubling down on. I think more importantly, what it does is it gives you like this friendship. It gives you a community. For those of you that are at that have joined Kindle Cashflow Live, what are some of the things? Give me a word. Give me one word. All right, that you would use to describe Kindle Cashflow Live. For me, it would be community, it would be education, it would be learning. Give me one word for those of you that have joined or have ever been at a Kindle Cashflow Live event before. Right? Jennifer Mathis says family. All right, very cool. I like that. Education, learning, community, fun, prizes. We give away a ton of prizes, right? Boom, right? Because Lenny the Boss is always there. High energy, informative. Thank you. I love that. So here's just some of the benefits to like joining us at KCF Live. Like you'll get to learn how to grow your digital publishing businesses from other successful publishers. Like you'll get to hear from other people. And I think that this is one of the most beneficial things to it here is you get to see other people that are moving in the direction that you want to move in. Like they've come from where you were at and now they're at this different level of success. So it makes it more believable for you. You saw someone who like we'll have people that come on and they'll talk about their trials and tribulations that they may have faced at the very beginning and how they overcame those things, right? You'll see people who are romance reader publishers or someone who may be publishing in the sci-fi realm or someone who's, you know, both nonfiction and fiction, right? You get a better understanding of how to market to your readers, customers, and clients because we talk about marketing and how do you go in and do things like building up your email list. How often should you communicate with your email list, right? What are some of the things that you should use as communication pieces in your emails? And then some of the can't miss aspects of it is you make lifelong friendships and partnerships, right? With people that have joined accountability groups like Gabby and Rashawn and they just Sandy Still, they've went in, they've created these accountability groups and they've become accountability partners, which is super important, especially for someone who finds it hard to be consistent, which is that second strategy that I said that you need to be able to build out this community and your list and your audience without spending a lot of money on ads, right? We give away a lot of cash and prizes. So traditionally, we give a few thousand in cash and prizes away. So some really cool stuff. We've given away like laptops. We've given away like iPhones. I think not iPhones. We've given away iPads. We've given away Kindles. We've given away a ton of books. We've given away Amazon gift cards. So you get a chance to win some really cool cash and prizes. We've given away lots of money, PayPal payments. You get access to never before released trainings that will help skyrocket your success as well. Trainings that typically you may not find in a traditional market space. So here's a bit of what we'll be sharing with you at this coming event, right? How to properly market your books to generate more sales. So you'll learn how to do that. And I think that this is something that everyone needs to get better at, marketing. Like most creatives, this is the one thing that if they need to sharpen their sword in any one direction, it would be here, marketing, right? How many people need to get better at marketing? Put yes in the chat box. If you're being totally honest, you need to get better at marketing, right? I have my hand up because marketing is one of those things that no one ever reaches like the pinnacle of. We should always be learning how to get better at marketing, right? How to ask for the sale, how to make people aware of what we have available for sale. And then you'll also learn how to build an email list of loyal readers. So a lot of you guys are saying, hey, look, this is something that I'm interested in. I saw Margaret say, yes, she's interested in learning how to build out a subscriber database, right? So you'll learn how to do that. You'll learn how to get started, which is big. So you might say, hey, Ty, why do you have how to get started on here? Do you know most people have a hard time simply getting started? Like that is the most, if you went in, I talked about surveys earlier. If you went in and you surveyed people who wanted to get started with writing a book, starting a business, having some type of a side hustle, right? Going back to school, whatever it is. The most difficult thing for them to do is simply get started. And I don't mean planning. I don't mean researching. I don't mean reading up on something. I don't mean talking to other people. I don't mean watching YouTube videos. I don't mean being on Instagram or TikTok. I don't mean buying books about the subject. I mean actively being engaged and working in that thing. It's the most difficult thing for people to do. So we give you strategies and formulas to successfully get started and to create that momentum, right? The momentum is the hardest piece. You guys remember that, right? Back from science. It's the thing at rest tends to stay at rest, including humans and their ideas and their desires and their ambitions, right? We'll show you how to stay motivated and find time to write. Like this is big for people as well. So being motivated, finding the time to write, especially with families and commitments and communities and jobs and everything else like that. How many people find it really hard to be creative because you just don't have the time? And by the time you're done with your day, you're exhausted. So we'll show you some ways of how to stay motivated, how to find the time to write so that you consistently are able to pull from this energy that you have and you're able to go. The reason why most people find it hard to stay motivated and to be creative is because they're looking for these energy reserves in the wrong thing. We'll show you how to find those reserves in the right thing. And that becomes a lot easier for you to do. All right? And then understanding how to increase your chances at hitting bestseller status by following a system. When you leave stuff up to chance, almost nothing happens. But when you follow a system, right? It's like having an SOP, a standard operating procedure. When you have a system, you can tend to get the results more than not. All right. That's why McDonald's has grown so rapidly, and they're like one of the most recognizable brands because they started off Ray Kroc, right? And then two brothers that bought the whole process from him. They understood systems, right? So that they could take someone who has an 8th grade education level and put them on a frying machine, and then they could take someone that has a master's or PhD, put that person on a frying machine, and guess what? The fries still come out the same, regardless of who's on it, right? Having a system. So when you have a system, it will work regardless of who you are, right? And then how to greatly increase the chance that your content will sell, right? So something else that you'll learn at KCF Live. Multiple ways to get your Kindle books created. And if you're struggling with getting your book started or done, right, this is for you. If you're struggling with getting your book started or done, then that's definitely for you right there, right? So now after this event, you'll walk away feeling like everyone in the KCF community is family, because they will be, as many people just put in the chat box, right? Most of you guys may already have your ticket. I saw a few people, I think I saw Brian Keller and a few other people. Who here has their ticket already, right? But I wanted to do something special for those that don't have a ticket yet. This will only be available here. So when I give you a link here, I'm going to give you a link to something really cool. Don't share it outside of this Zoom room. This is our secret here, all right? Can you hold a secret? Put yes in the chat box if you can hold a secret, because if you can't hold a secret, then I might have to dismiss you from the Zoom, all right? But if you can hold a secret, just put a yes in the chat box really quickly. Let me know, all right? I got a bunch of people putting yes. I'm not going to even read off the names, but a lot of secret holders here. I'm the worst when it comes to holding a secret. So I can only hold a secret if there's nobody around me. That's the only way I can hold a secret, all right? So there was no way that I could include everything that you need to know into like this short presentation like this. Like we've only been here for like an hour. I just scratched the surface on 3 highly effective strategies of an entire multi-step process. And what I want to do is, I want to do something extra special for everyone in attendance here today. So what I decided to do is 3 things for you here today. And the first is, for everyone that takes action on what I'm about to share with you, you'll also get access to the slides and a replay of this training here. So you'll be able to download them totally free with a special link that will be added to your private KCF Live members area. So Brian, you're already in KCF, so I'm going to give you access to this too, just because you're here, but no one else outside of this will get it. We're going to try and make that happen. I'm not sure if that's possible. You'll be able to access them within the next 48 hours. So I'm going to give Des, who's in charge of OM, and she'll be able to take the link, she'll take the slides, she'll take a replay of this training, and she'll add them to the members area of the KCF Live platform. Secondly, because the strategies that I shared with you here are so powerful, I'm also going to give you an automated marketing system. So remember that system that I talked about a few minutes ago that will help you to build out your list, that will help you to build out your funnels, your sales pages, and everything else, right? You can go in, you can show your digital products, you can have a members area there. I'm going to give you access to this thing as well, right? As a thank you when you grab your ticket to KCF Live. And then third, I really wanted to go above and beyond for you guys today. So someone said that, Ty, you always over deliver. So I wanted to really hold on to that promise and do so today too. So that's why I decided to include this. Well, let me talk about something else. I want to step back. This right here, anyone that has bought a KCF Live ticket so far, they don't get this. You guys are going to get it. And there's like $1,300 worth of value in that or more. Because let me just give you a bunch of stuff in there. So that's why I decided to include this entire training and the entire multi-step process into one of the sessions that will be taught at KCF Live. So I'm going to double down on how to get free traffic at KCF Live, right? So this full 3-day step-by-step learning smorgasbord so that you can get your own content completed, marketed, and sold the right way. And then what we'll share at KCF Live are the things that are normally only shared in by invite only mastermind groups and publishing inner circles or coaching programs that cost tens of thousands of dollars. All right. So during KCF Live, we'll hold your hand. During KCF Live, we'll hold your hand and walk you through the entire processes of getting your books, courses, and other digital content started, finished, published, marketed, and sold step by step, leaving no stones unturned. You'll also get the entire event, the event recordings of every session, all 3 days, because this is a 3-day event. So you'll get all of the recordings in the event that you can't make all 3 days, or you can only make certain times, right? You'll get the training and access to every single tool and resource that we share during the event, right? Plus, you'll also get online access to the live broadcast and direct chat with other online attendees on Zoom. You'll get live Q&A with presenters on Zoom. You'll get priority booking for one-on-one coaching sessions. You'll get access to the event Facebook group. You'll get special event materials, right? You'll also get Kindle Publishing Secrets, the book that I was just talking about earlier, which is priceless, right? I took all of the things that myself and my top students do to publish to their Kindle publishing businesses, and I put them all into this book, distilled all into this book. So you're going to get a copy of that as well. You'll get Mastering Amazon Ads, the course, which traditionally sells for $97. You'll also get our How to Sell 80,000 Copies of Your Books course, which also traditionally sells for $97. You'll get recordings of the entire event. I wanted to say that again because people always ask, hey, will I get the recordings if I can't be there? Yes, you're going to get the recordings of all 3 days, all right? You'll also get a case study of, I've got a student here. This is 19, but he's 21 now. His name is Peter Andre. I wish I could tell you how much he's making with Kindle publishing, but because of FTC rules and things like that, I can't share his results, but he is killing it. You would not believe how well this kid is doing. And guess what he's doing? Guess what his subject matter is? Guess what type of content he's publishing on Amazon? Who here wants to guess? He's publishing content around public speaking and debating. So in high school, his dad got him into he was a very shy, introverted kid, right? So his dad was like, I want you to join a debate club. He joined the debate club, loved it, and then started publishing a series of books around it. So you'll get a training, and where I go and I interview him. This thing, again, and you could see it in the training. You could hear it you'll see because he logs into his account, he shows and everything. I just can't tell you how much he's making now. But in that thing, you're gonna love it because it's just eye-opening. All right. If he could do this in a niche like that, in a genre like that, then we can all do it in anything, right? And then you'll have a totally much better understanding of how to create, market, and sell your books, courses, audiobooks, and other digital content of all genres by the end of KCF Live, by the end of day 3. And that's not even everything. I wanted to take things one step further, right? The information is easily worth $5,000 to $10,000. I know because it personally cost me thousands of dollars in years of flying to and paying for and attending live seminars, conferences, and masterminds, and getting the information, studying to learn and fine tune it, and then bringing it back and sharing it with you guys in all of the courses and the trainings that we put together, right? I've invested that money, and then I come back and I put it into our stuff. But you're not going to pay like thousands like I did. Like an event or a workshop like this might typically charge $497 or $997, but you're not even going to pay even one of those, even though it's worth more than that, right? KCF Live is worth so much more than that. As a matter of fact, we do our biggest takeaway sessions and people are always like, oh my God, I can't believe I paid this to get all of this amount of growth and knowledge and insight, right? And just you becoming who you deserve to be. So what I want to do as a favor to you and the entire community is make this accessible to every single person here. And I wanted to make this a complete no-brainer that everyone would jump on. So that's why after talking it over with the KCF team, we've decided to give you a platinum ticket to the entire Kindle Castle Live event, including the replays and all the tools and the resources at an incredibly deep discount. So, however, we decided that that wasn't even good enough for you either. So we took it a little further. So we decided to do something big that we don't normally do. This is the first time that we've actually done this, to be honest with you. That's why just for today on this live event, right? And if we have a recording, and if we, hopefully you guys, we do have a recording. I hope I was recording. And if you're watching the recording also, I'm going to make this available for those that get to watch the recording until we take the recording down, right? We wanted to do something extremely special. So for anyone that's watching right now, and for all the action takers in attendance, we wanted to reward you. So that's why when you take advantage of this special offer right now, you'll get access to everything that I just mentioned to you, including a platinum level ticket to KCF Live. It says challenge, but to KCF Live for just $97. And here's where it gets even better. You're going to get an additional 25% off when you go in and you use code ADS. All right. When you put ADS in there, because we're talking about ads, right? No ads. You'll get your platinum ticket for just $72.75 instead of $97. All right. So when you use discount code ADS, and don't do it yet, I'm going to show you where. All right. I'm going to show you where to do it. Before I give you the link to get in, I need everyone to pay special attention to 2 very important things. All right. 2 very important things. I need everyone to pay special attention to these 2 very important things. Put 2 into the chat box. If you're going to pay attention to 2 important things, because sometimes when I do this, people rush off, they want to go in and order, and then they miss out on something, and then it screws things up for them, right? And I don't want that to happen to you guys. So I got 2, 2, 2. Everyone put 2 in there. Willie's got it. Alice got it. Who else? Margot's got it. Ann's got it. Simeon's got it. Put the 2 in there. Put the 2. Victor, Brian Keller. All right, very cool. Put yes in the chat box if you are paying attention, because I want to make sure I'm going to give you special instructions. And I want to make sure that everyone is paying attention. So put yes in the chat box if you're paying attention. Brian's got the yes. Ann's got the yes. Debbie's got the yes. Rhonda's got the yes. Let's see. Brian, Victor, Nora. Good to see you, Nora. Nora, did you get our email? Because we did go in. I saw your email from the other day. You should be all set. Margaret put yes in there. Jim Stokes put yes in there. Danielle put yes. All right. Nathaniel put yes. Jennifer, Alex Scott. All right. So number 1 of 2. The special link that I'm about to give you, will only give a discount to the first 50 people to order. So no exceptions. It will shut out at 50. Put 50 in the chat box if this is clear. Put 50 in the chat box. Thank you, Donnie. Thank you, Jim. So regardless of if you're watching live right now, or if you happen to find a replay, or you find it, this link, I had Des create this link and I had to limit it to 50. So it's not some fake scarcity or anything like that. We don't do that. All right. It truly will, the code will not work after 50. All right. So number two, in order to get the 25% off discount, you must type the word ads in the discount code box that you'll find on the order form. And then you have to hit apply. All right. So you'll then see the discount applied. So I want to make sure that I'm very clear with this because I want everyone to get the discount. Right. And it becomes kind of challenging to go in and refund things. So I want to make sure that everyone gets it. So you have to put that word ads in the discount code, and I'll show you where to put that. And then you have to click apply so that the discount is actually applied. All right. So we'll not be able to provide refunds if you fail to insert the code ads and hit apply. So let me show you exactly what that looks like. So step one, you're going to visit kindlecashflow.com/25 off. So kindlecashflow.com/25 off, and I'll give you that link in just a minute in the chat box. And then you're going to see a page that looks a little bit like this. We might be split testing pages, so it might be a little bit different. All right. And then what you're going to do is you go in and that's step one. Step two is down in this area here, you insert your discount code ads. Put an ADS right there, and then you have to hit apply. That's step three. Right, so that makes sure that you get the discount, and then it will change from $97 to $72.75, I believe. I think that's 25% off, right? So it's going to be kindlecashflow.com/25. So I'm going to put this in the chat box. So kindlecashflow.com/25. All right, click that link, and then make sure that you put ads, all right, and that you're good to go. Brian, if you want to go in and sign up at VIP, then we'll just we'll refund the. I'm sorry, not VIP. If you want to sign up at Platinum, we'll refund the VIP. All right. So let me know if you do, because I'll let Des know to go in and issue a refund on that. So we want to reward you. So when you take advantage of this special offer right now, you'll get access to everything, including the Platinum level ticket to the Kindle Cashflow Live event for just $97. Plus, you'll get that additional 25% off when you use discount code ads. All right. So ADS, visit kindlecashflow.com/25, and you'll get that ticket for just $72.75. All right. And then here's what that looks like. So step one, you visit not kcflive.com. Well, you could go to kcflive.com, but that's going to take you to the overall page. To get directly to the Platinum page, go to kindlecashflow.com/25 off. Right? So kindlecashflow.com/25 off. I just put it in the chat box, and then you enter discount code ADS. The second step is you're going to enter that code there, then make sure you hit apply, right? And then you're good to go. Jim Stokes says episode 25 of a podcast. I'm not sure what that means. And then make sure you hit apply, and then you'll see the discount, right? Plus, we're also going to, does that not come up? Put in 25. Oh, I put in 25. That's right. Thank you. Yeah, so I had the wrong code in there. Thank you, Brian, for pointing that out. So that's why you want smart people in your community, guys. That's why you want to do this, right? So kindlecashflow.com/25 off. Thank you, Jim, for finding it, for catching that. So make sure you visit kindlecashflow.com/25 off, all right? And then enter discount code ADS, all right? And that's going to give you the 25% off. Please do not forget to enter your discount code. We're also going to give you that AMS system, that automatic marketing system that I talked about. You'll get the book and digital content marketing software, which is really cool. It is so much better than ClickFunnels because you get everything, and you're going to get the special free 14-day trial to it. So go ahead and visit kcflive.com right now to get everything for a one-time payment of just $97, right? And minus that discount, right? So step one, visit kindlecashflow.com/25 off. And then step two, you're going to insert your discount code. And then step three, and this is the final step, like you need to make sure that you hit apply so that the discount actually shows up for you. Okay, so that's it. This special offer of just $97.25 off is only available while this video is available. So again, or up until 50 people go in and kind of get their tickets. So it's whichever one comes first. It's like up until this video is available, and I'm going to make that, or once we hit 50 ticket sales, right? I mean, which is going to happen really quickly because we get a ton of people that join us at KCF Live. So you do not want to wait. And that's going to be the most that you'll ever, like the lowest price that you'll see these platinum tickets for, right? So if you come back later, the discount code may not work, especially once we hit, it stops once we hit 50. So either way, $97. And even if it's at 97, that's still a really good value for 3 days of Kindle Castle Live. So if you come back, or if you wait, and I don't suggest that you wait, I suggest that you do it now, right? Don't put something off for later that you could do now, because the law of diminishing intent will take place. Life will start lifing. But even if you are too late and the code doesn't work for you, $97 is still an amazing value for 3 days of Kindle Castle Live and all of the learning and all of the stuff that you'll get, right? Right, so save 25% off right now when you enter discount code ADS by visiting kindlecastle.com/25 off, right? And these are the steps. So step 1, visit kindlecastle.com/25 off. Step 2, enter your discount code there. Step 3, click apply, and that's going to apply the discount. That's the end of his training. What I want to do is, for those of you who have never joined us at KCF Live, what I want to do is remember I said during this training, I said, look, let other people hear, let your customers, let your readers, let your clients hear what other people have to say about you and about the things that you provide. And I want to do that here. So I want to leave you with hearing about what other people have to say about KCF Live. And this is actually at one of our KCF Live events. And who knows, you might even see a lot of people saying, I'm in, very cool, right? Good to have you guys in. You might even see yourself here on this video here. So I'm going to play this video and I'll post the link in the chat box one more time so that you guys have it. Go in, get your ticket, and we'll see you at KCF Live. Pay attention to what these folks are saying about KCF Live and what their biggest takeaways have been. You're going to see a lot of people on here, and some that may be just like you. Stay well. Have a good day, good night, good morning. We'll see you at KCF Live. Remember, don't share this link with anyone. Don't share that discount link, Donnie.
I want to ask you guys, so here's what we're going to do. You all know how to raise your digital hand, right? So I want to ask you to come on, raise your digital hand, and in literally 30 seconds, state your name, where you're watching or where you're joining us from, and let us know what's been that biggest takeaway, what's been your biggest aha, what's been the most fun, maybe the most, the thing that you've gotten the most value out of from today's first day. All right, so one at a time, go in, raise your digital hand, we'll bring you on, and in 30 seconds, because we have a lot of people and we want to get through these really quickly so that we're conscious of your time. Let us know your name, where you're joining us from, and then what has been your biggest takeaway. All right, so let's see. So let's go through these, Justin, one at a time. I see Marlene at the top here. And then someone, before I get to Marlene really quickly, I saw in the chat box where someone says, look, how do we join tomorrow? So if you're watching on YouTube, you'll join us on YouTube tomorrow. If you're watching on Facebook, you'll join us on Facebook in the same way that you joined us today. If you're joining us here in Zoom, right, you'll join us on Zoom using the exact same link at the exact same time, 11 a.m. Eastern, which is 8 a.m. Pacific. So tomorrow and Sunday will start at the exact same time. So Marlene.
Yeah.
Where are you joining us from and what's been your biggest takeaway?
Santa Rosa, California. I got the biggest takeaway was from our breakout group where I have my niche is a hard one, like smog. And if you put that keyword in, you get smog your car. And so they helped me with some great ideas to promote it because, you know, wildfires are on everybody's mind right now. Yeah. And so I'm going to incorporate that into my promotion.
Very cool. I love it. Yeah, it's big time right now, right? We see what's happening in Hawaii at this moment, right? And then just before that, it was Canada. So, and then the West Coast has problems, you know, every so often. So there you go. Thank you, Marlene. Right.
You're welcome.
Good to have you. All right. Who else do we have here? Bob Jackson. Bob, good to see you again. Good to see your smiling face. All right.
Bob Jackson from New Hampshire.
Yep.
My biggest takeaway is really the generosity of this group. I mean, the individuals, but the behind the scenes people who are doing so many things that we just don't fully appreciate
Yeah.
is really blowing me away. You know, this is, I think, my sixth or seventh one, and I'm still amazed at what you guys put together and things you keep adding to this.
He's going to be 30.
And I'm excited about the funnels that you talked about as well to receive. But it was just great. I mean, I like the topic dealing specifically with overcoming barriers, some that are self-imposed and some that you run into. That was great. So it was a great day for me.
All right, thank you. Hey, like you said, this is I was kind of thinking in my head, like, how many times have we seen Bob? And it's always good to see you again, as Lenny said earlier. And to have you come back means that we're doing something right, right? And I love the fact that you acknowledge the people that are behind the scenes, because there's people that you guys don't see here, right? And they contribute to this. So thank you, Bob, for that.
Absolutely.
All right, thank you. All right, who do we have next? Jennifer Long in Wisconsin. Jennifer, how's it going?
It's going good. Yes, Jennifer Long, Beloit, Wisconsin. I actually have several takeaways. They're all hashtags. Hashtag celebrate yourself. Hashtag money loves speed. Hashtag celebrate you or me. And hashtag celebrate every win, no matter how small.
I love it. I love it. Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. That's how you do it. All right, Jane Johnson over in France. Jane.
Hello. Yeah, I've been really enjoying this. It's fantastic. Smart goals set out. That was great. I've got that written down. The specific subgenres to make an impact so that you're speaking to a direct, your own audience that you've chosen. So instead of a few words to 10,000 people who don't take any notice, you're actually writing to a list that specifically wants to hear what you've got to say. Great. Also, something Sandy put in the chat, if you want to relaunch a book that's been on your backlist for a while and hasn't done anything, she said, check and recreate the covers to something more attractive.
Yeah.
Redefine your blurb. Check your keywords are actually working for you and that they're in the right categories, and make sure that you've done your research. So all of that was just, yeah, there's a list to go through, whether it's a relaunch or whether it's for a first launch. You need to make sure that all of those are ticking off before you start launching a new one. And overall, the trainings, the mindset, don't let barriers put you off, promise not to give up at obstacles, and accountability and keeping in touch with the group. And just a big thank you to everybody, you, the team, and the people behind the scenes, as Bob said, and the chat people. It's been great. It's been lovely. I'm loving it every minute, and I'll be back tomorrow.
Cool. I love seeing you in the chat as well, Jane. So thank you for all that you do here. Right.
Bless you. Thank you.
All the way from France. All right. Who else do we have? Come in, introduce yourself, give us your name and where you're watching from and your biggest takeaway. All right. We got you. If you can unmute yourself, there you go. Boom. We got you.
So I'm Kaida, Kai for short, and I am in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's been a wonderful day. I had so much fun today. I guess my biggest takeaway is to not be so overwhelmed and to actually take action and get started, and to move in small, minute motions, and I will definitely make my way progress.
There you go. I love it. That's how you do it. So small steps, right? Building that momentum. So Kai, is this your first time joining us for KCF Live? Oh, your screen froze. Can you hear me? There you go.
Oh,
This is your very first KCF Live event?
Yes, I'm sorry, it's freezing. I don't know what's going on. Yep.
No,
First
not a
time.
problem. All right, so we look forward to seeing you tomorrow as well. Same time, same link. And I love the fact that you said, look, small steps, that's how you do it. Thank you. All right, who else do we have? Betty Powell. I love the background there, Betty. Hashtag Superwoman. She's got her VIP background on there.
Yeah, I love that background. I wish I could get rid of this funny circle, but that's what I'm stuck with. Anyhow, I'm in Wilmington, Delaware right now.
Okay.
And my biggest takeaway today was you reminding us about doing at least 5 minutes a day,
Yeah.
because I've been pretty overwhelmed with caring for a sister who's got terminal cancer. And so there have been many days I've done nothing and ended up just feeling like I was so far behind the 8 ball. And I was stuck in that thing of every time you get back to it, you're relearning, you're relaunching your brain. So in my breakout group, I made the commitment, I raised my hand, and I said that I pledged to do 5 minutes a day minimum on my business from here on out. So I have started a list of 5-minute tasks. And
Smart.
I have done the first one.
What was the first one, if you don't mind me asking?
To unload a particular book, my printout of the book from the tote bag and all
Okay.
the related folders about the structure and the chapters, etc., so that I can have access to working with it next.
So now you think that you can get that done in 5 minutes?
I got it all out of the tote bag and onto the shelf where I have access to this material now.
You have access. Okay. So here's,
Yes.
I'm going to give you a tip really quickly. So here's how you start. And anything that you guys want to do, right? Every day as you're setting your time limits for yourself, it might be 5 minutes, it might be 60 minutes. Set a timer, use your phone. And then you're playing Beat the Clock. Remember the old game show, like it's Beat the Clock? So I'll do that oftentimes. As a matter of fact, as I'm working on some of my presentations for KCF Live, because if I don't catch myself, I will literally be putting these things together at the last minute. It's craziness. I'll be up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, but day before. So what I'll do is I'll set a timer and I'll say, okay, I'm giving myself an hour to knock this out. I'm giving myself 90 minutes and I'm setting the timer. And when I set the timer, that means I don't care who comes to the door. I don't care who's calling here, unless it's one of my kids or my wife, of course, right? I don't care how bad I have to get up and go use the bathroom. I don't care how much apple pie might be on my mind. Sticking to my timer here, and I'm playing Beat the Clock, and it helps me to get so much accomplished. So if you guys go in and you say, look, realistically, I think this is going to take me an hour to get done, I'm going to set a timer for 55 minutes or an hour. And I've got this timer facing me as I'm working on this task and I'm playing Beat the Clock. And then the second key to this is you have to reward yourself with something once you beat it. So for me, it might be, okay, now I can get up and I can go in and I'll get a drink of water. I'll go grab a bottle of water, or I might go in and get a snack, right? So you have to reward yourself for each of these micro accomplishments. And what that does is it gives you these dopamine hits. And now it makes the next task easier, and the next task easier, and the next one easier. And before you know it, you're a master at beating procrastination and a master of doing a lot in a small amount of time. All right. So thank you, Betty, for sharing your list, your 5-minute list. I appreciate you as always. And I actually like the frame. I like the background. Do you guys think it looks cool like this? I actually think the circle looks great like this. So thank you. I appreciate you.
Okay, I got my timer and I got my reward, my last candy.
It's as simple as that. Is that like a butterscotch candy? It's one of those
Caramel, Werther's caramels.
Werther's, right? That's it. So something as simple as that.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be, look, I'm going to reward myself by doing what. Sometimes it might be, look, I'm going to reward myself by going to the movies if it's a big task. Or I'll reward myself by going in and making some tea after I'm done with this. But it works phenomenally. All right. So thank you, Betty. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Right. Who else do we have? Who's next? Tony. There he goes. Right. So Tony, where are you watching from and what's been your biggest takeaway?
I'm Tony. I'm watching right now from Tallahassee, Florida, and other than the $100, which I'm grateful for.
Did you get that yet? Did you get the $100?
I did. I
Right.
did. Yeah, it came in with PayPal. Thank you so much.
Very cool.
I like the AIDA, attention, interest, desire, and action. I think that's valuable on lots of things. The idea of writing short books as opposed to writing the longer ones was a good idea for me.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat room mentioned book funnels, and I'm going to look that up, and that sounds like a good tool. And just focusing in on discovering and focusing on a particular niche, I think is probably one of my biggest challenges. What I'm looking forward to hearing more on.
Yeah, I love it. Look, and like you said, look, this AIDA stuff, it could be applied in multiple areas, right?
Yeah.
Actually, if you think about this, guys, I like to always compare things to dating, even though coming up actually next week will be, my wife and I will be celebrating 19 years of marriage.
Oh, y'all getting warmed up, aren't you?
Yeah, we're just getting warmed up on the 15th. But if I think about when I first met her, I applied AIDA. Right? It's getting her attention initially. It's getting her first attention. Hey, I'm over here, right? And whatever way you do it, and then her interest, I'm over here. Hey, would you like to maybe give me your phone number and we can have a chat on the phone sometimes, right? Then I had to get her to have a desire to give me her phone number, right? And then the action. We got 4 kids, so you guys know what the action leads to. So, but AIDA applies to everything. Not just books, not just copywriting. So if you think about it, right? So
that was valuable. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's even more valuable than the $100.
There you go. Is this your first KCF Live event?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far.
Right. So we'll see you tomorrow, and we'll see you.
I'll be here. I'll be here.
Same link.
Thanks a lot, Ty.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye. All right, guys. Who's next? I think we have Jane next. Boom. There we go. We got you, Jane.
You unmuted. Right.
No, we can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you. The headphones are working.
Great. Okay. I've written a few things down.
Oh wait, first, where are you joining us from?
Okay, I'm Jane Greer, and I'm from Manchester, United Kingdom.
I love it.
Which is famous for Manchester United.
Yeah.
Pretty brilliant team in the 60s.
Yeah.
And George Best. Pretty long
soccer
time
team
ago.
that you guys have. What's the football team? At Manchester.
The football, my favorite.
No, does Manchester have its own football team? I thought so. Maybe I'm
Manchester United.
Okay,
United, but
got it.
but
Okay.
now it's one of those places where you've got City or United, and the blue team is Manchester City, the red team is United. Now City is crazily the champions.
Wow.
Years, taking all the trophies for years in a row. Anyway, so my takeaways are, the first one I thought of really was do the homework.
Yeah.
Then some other things came up really for me, which are, they're more like broad span things, like learn from other people. It was great to hear and meet Barbara Shobe, is it? Barbara Shobe.
Yeah.
It was great to hear what she was talking about. And that you mentioned the Monday morning meetup as well. Obviously, that is a thing about learning from other people. It's really, yeah, follow the program, like do the homework, follow the program, and yourself as well. The fact that you're doing what you love doing, and you're teaching people, you're coaching people, and so that's that's the linchpin really to the whole thing. So whatever else we're getting out of it, we're getting a bit of or a massive amount of inspiration that comes from you following your own vocation.
And this stuff is not hard, is it, Jane? Like, I'm listening to you go over the list, like hearing Barbara and then doing the homework. It's literally not hard. It's just a matter of, the hardest part is overcoming not being in motion and just literally getting in motion, right? And then just developing those habits and moving forward consistently. That's the hardest part. But once we get that in place, the other stuff is super easy. It becomes enjoyable.
So really, if I recall, that there was some conversation in the second breakout, and that really is probably the best thing to recall some of that, because that shares what was uppermost in my mind, I guess. What I was saying, that was the same thing really, about learning from other people and the coaching, that we're getting coached while we're on these calls. So I'm reminded, even if I know, basically being part of the group, which is part of your ethos.
Yeah.
So really it's Taiko wisdom is what we're getting, really. Everything you've learned that you're sharing with people, we're getting that. And it's learning from the community, that gets you in motion. You may know what you should be doing, but the fact that you're connected with other people who are doing it, you've got buddies, and so it kind of nudges you along. It nudges you back into where you may just be get some pauses. You might be paused by other things that are going on and affecting you in your life.
Yeah,
that's probably the only thing.
Happens to us all, right?
That's one of the main advantages, isn't it, that they say in self-development or personal growth, that be in the community of like-minded people.
Yeah, beautifully put. Look, Napoleon Hill, in his book Think and Grow Rich, he talks about the power of a mastermind, and that's when two or more individuals come together collectively to think about a solution to a problem. And how the power in having a mastermind does something that exponentially gives us the resources, the mental thought powers that we wouldn't have if we were just trying to figure out this problem on our own. We become more creative. We have more energy. There's more thought that goes into it, right? We come up with these solutions, and it's like we have this superpower in ourselves. And that's what we have in the community. We have this collective of individuals that have a variety of life experiences, people like yourself who are over in the UK, Caroline Trainers in the UK, Sue White is up in Canada, right? Me in the US, Jawar in the US. So collectively, we're unbeatable.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's a fabulous thing, and you started it. It's a very fabulous thing that you've put it into action from, what it's very, very wonderful. Definitely.
All right. Thank you, Jane. We appreciate you. Stay well. All
See you soon.
All right. See you soon. Who else do we have? We've got Darlene. Darlene, how's it going?
It's going. There was a lot of good things that came out of today. Two of them were quotes, and then there was something else. Two of the quotes that really helped me a lot was when you said, the more hands you shake, the more money you make.
Okay.
I saw it as not only networking, but also in the actions that we take daily towards our goals. But the other side of that with me is to celebrate myself more. I'm good at celebrating other people. There's a lot of accomplishments and things I do. There's a lot that's going on and happening. And because I'm not moving at the speed that I normally would, sometimes I don't celebrate that like I should. And I hear other people celebrating me more about it than I do. But then when George also said, when it's getting really hard, you're 3 feet from gold. And I just kind of laughed at that, because it's like, I must be 2 or 1 feet from gold at this point. With some of the craziness that's been happening. So that's what I got out of it. Keep pushing. And then also make sure that I celebrate myself on the small things that really aren't so small, like I need to do, because that makes it better.
It definitely does. Look, if you take time, you said something super important, right? And that is celebrating the small things and recognizing that they're really not so small. Like we think about the ability to have breath, to breathe. Something as simple as waking up in the morning. When I just told you guys, like my wife's uncle, I think I told you guys earlier, my wife's uncle passed recently. He just celebrated his 81st birthday Sunday before last. And then he's gone. So celebrating the fact that when we wake up in the morning, sometimes I'd wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh my God, thank you. Thank you that I'm here. Thank you that my children are here. Thank you that my wife is here. We woke up. Because you just never know, right? So celebrating the little things, or seemingly little things, as you said, is what puts us on that path to gratitude. And then the other thing is, as we have these obstacles, we have these hard times, it's literally a test. How bad do you really want it? How bad do you really want it, right? This is a test. And sometimes you're like, God, I know that I'm strong. I know you believe in me, but do you have to test me that much?
I'm not Miss Job.
Right.
Even though I've been through, as you know, Ty, the cancer thing, the coma thing, and all other things. So, yeah.
So
sometimes we forget about how far we've come, looking at what we're going through at the moment.
Yep. It's the gap in the gain, right? So it's the
Yeah.
gap in the gain. And basically what that is we look at where we are now, right? The gap is we look at where we are now versus where we want to be. So that's the gap in our
Yes.
life versus where we are now, as opposed to where we came from. That's the true gain. That's the true gain. Not that gap as to where we are now and where we want to be. So we get it screwed up sometimes. And if we realize, like, oh my God, like I really came through this, and I came through this, and I lived through this, I'm really winning here. I gained a
Guilty.
lot. Right. And so am I. If I had to raise, absolutely, right? Because we're human. And if you're human, it's easy for you to fall into that. So Darlene, I appreciate you. Thank you. All right. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right. Who else do we have? Let's see. Who else do? I think I see a couple of hands up. Boom. There we go. Bernice. Is it Bernice?
Yes, it is.
All right. Bernice. Where are you watching from, and what's been your biggest takeaway so far? We're losing your audio. There we go. So let's start all over again because we lost your audio. I'm gonna start on my end. Bernice, where are you watching from, and what's been your biggest takeaway?
Right. Yeah, I'm from Trinidad, the southernmost island of the Caribbean. Right. And I have had so many takeaways today. You know, the idea of the small reads, I never considered that one before. And Ada, was just so interesting. And then the last session that you had here, where you gave those important pointers about, limiting the negative persons and the naysayers and the importance of a supportive network, and just remembering the reason why having the vision board. But I think what was most impacting today for me was the few minutes that I spent with Jawar.
Oh, wow.
An amazing coach.
So you had a coaching call with Coach Jawar. What's been your biggest takeaway from that call with him?
Well, the biggest takeaway from that is that I have to refocus in terms of my approach, and not only look for the passion reads, like thinking about my life and my mom's life and all of that, but looking at what people want to read, and not so much not the stories I want to tell, but what they want to read. And so I have more or less changed my focus in those few minutes and just looking forward to more time with Jawa. He's just amazing.
Yeah, he is an incredible guy. So if you guys get a chance to speak,
Yes.
Jawar, definitely make sure you take advantage of the opportunity. And look, Bernice, that doesn't mean that you can't go back and share your stories, right? Because those stories will help some
Yeah.
people, right?
Mhm,
But it
mhm.
is put what we teach in place so that you can get the resources to now go in and more
Mhm.
effectively share those stories. So there you
Right.
go. So thank you.
But as you all shared, you know,
Mhm.
it's important to get something that can provide you with the resources first, so that
Absolutely.
you could go back afterwards and deal with those other passion things.
100%. Because you can't eat off of hope, right? I used to
Right.
Right.
Yes.
My kids and my wife, I can't tell them, look, I hope that this story of me sharing my story and my journey of sickle cell
Mhm,
anemia works. And they're gonna look at me and say,
mhm.
look, hope doesn't work.
Yeah.
Dollar
Mhm.
bills. And that's it. So thank you,
Yes.
Bernice. We appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow, same time, okay?
Yes, sure.
Stay well. All right, who else do we have? Olga, we got you. You are unmuted. Let us know where you're watching from and what's been your biggest takeaway so far.
Hey, Ty, thank you. First and foremost, thank you so much, not just for today, but for everything that you've done for so many over the course of so many years. You are more appreciated than you can even imagine.
Thank you.
Number
I accept that. Thank you.
Number two, so many takeaways from today. Sorry if I look a little tired. I was actually at my computer in a brainstorm until 6 a.m. this morning. So
I love it.
hanging out today after no sleep tells you how important this was, right?
I love it. I love that. Where are you at? What time zone are you in?
I'm at Eastern. I'm just outside of Toronto.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're on the same time zone. So I can imagine, yeah, 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Yeah. So many takeaways today. I'm a real lover of allegory.
Okay.
And so Rodney's allegory with the elephant and the dog, the pregnant elephant and the dog, was really impactful. It just a really great reminder that although we are all walking similar paths, you know, trying to get to a similar destination, each of our journeys is our own. And so comparing ourselves to others is not how we behave as a friend to ourselves. So working together, you know, when I'm talking about the people in business, they talk a lot about, and I always refer to it as co-opetition.
It is.
The more that we cooperate together, yes, we might be in similar industries, we might be doing similar things, but there's more than enough to go around. And the fact that you've created something so beautiful in terms of sharing, it just is heart expanding. So I will say that. My mind just went blank. There was something I was going to say.
No, you're good. You know, it's ironic, and it's not ironic, right? I really think that everything is divine and intentional. But the fact that you said we're not competing against each other, because tomorrow I'm going to talk about that. It's not competition, it's cooperation, it's competing with one another. And that's how we actually succeed, especially in a business like this, where we're kind of cooperating with one another in our knowledge and in our experiences. And you see that in the breakout sessions. You see that here where the coaches talk to you guys one-on-one. You see that when we have the Ask the Expert sessions. You'll see that even more as we bring students on for interviews and as we bring additional speakers on this weekend, right? So it's never competition. It's always cooperation. And that's how we come up with some of our sayings. I am my brother and sister's keepers. Because you're not competing with someone that you think is your brother or that you think is your sister, and that you're truly there with that person. You want them to win just as well as you want yourself to win. And that's okay if you want both of you guys to win, because there's enough on this planet for all of us to win. Because we all don't want the same thing.
More than enough. This life is abundant.
Yeah.
There is no lack, except I always say the only lack, we're only short 6 inches, and that's the 6 inches between our ears.
That's it.
So I always say, you know, my philosophy is this: every day, every morning I wake up above ground is a perfect day. The rest is just part of the adventure.
Everything else is the cream on top, right?
And everything else is just part of the adventures. So as much as we've all had struggles, and I don't know if you remember, a number of years ago, I had sent you a link to some research that was being done on sickle cell anemia. I don't know if you ever had a chance to look into that or not.
Did you send it to me by email? I'm gonna go in and search it. If you send it to me,
it was a number of years ago. I think it was through Facebook Messenger.
Okay, I'm gonna go.
But I'm always on the lookout. We all come across things that can be supportive of each other, and as long as we take the time to know each other and each other's needs, we never know what's going to come across our radar. And we should never be afraid to share information, because, you know, I could have assumed, oh, well, he already knows this because he's researching all the time, but I don't know that for sure.
Not at all. And look, it might have been the right time for me to receive it. There's many things that you guys may know and that you hear on this session right here, or this day, or throughout this weekend, but it's the right time for you to receive it.
Yes.
Right? So, like, you know, me and my wife, when there was many years ago, we'd go to church and I would share things with her, right, for years. And then we'd go to church and the pastor would say it. And she's like, oh my God, you know what? That's amazing. And I'm like, I've been saying that for years. I've been saying it in a different way, right? Maybe. But then I had to come to the realization that maybe it was just her time to receive it now, which is fine. So, Olga, thank you for joining us here. Thank you for being who you are. We'll see you tomorrow, correct?
I'm hoping so. I have, I came across this at the last minute and jumped on.
Okay.
And I have a commitment over the weekend that is so huge. It could be world changing.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, look.
So if I can move anything, then I will definitely be here, because this is next best thing to move, world changing. It's definitely world changing for each of us.
It definitely is. And if we don't see you tomorrow, then Sunday, you'll join us if you can. All right.
Yeah.
So stay well. All right. Who else do we have? I think I see Simeon. All right. Come in, state your name, where you're watching from, and what's been your biggest takeaway so far.
Oh, yes. Good evening, everyone, and greetings.
All right.
I am from the Caribbean, and my biggest takeaway has been definitely to consistently apply the recipe for success in this venture. And it is really tremendous being here. I'm grateful for the opportunity. It's a very inspiring environment for growth and interaction, and also interacting with other persons like myself, like Marvin and Barbara, who I would have interacted with in the breakout sessions. Previously, I would have been somewhat scared on occasion past, and so happy I'm at this point where I could raise my digital hand and contribute, and also really absorb so much. I must thank you, Ty Cohen. Your heart is really a big heart, and it's a big vision, and I like supporting your I would say generosity.
Thank you.
So I'll see you in the morning, and everyone else, thank you and God bless.
All right, well, thank you. And Simeon, you have that growth mindset that I was talking about earlier, right? Because you said, look, before I would have been terrified to come in and you know, take part and to talk and speak up in the breakout sessions and even here. And now the growth, right? So again, it's repetition. The more you expose yourself to something, the easier it now becomes, for the good or bad. Now that's the danger, right? The more you expose yourself to the bad things, the easier it becomes to partake in those things. The more you expose yourself to good things, even if they are frightening, the easier it is to partake in those things. So thank you, Simeon, for exposing yourself, for being here consistently, and for coming back over and over and over and over again, and being a part of our community, a visible part of a community. So thank you. All right. Who else do we have here? Boom. State your
Hi.
name and where you're watching from and your biggest takeaway.
Awesome. My name is Linda Christofferson, and I am from Tucson, Arizona. And I kind of got in a little bit late today, but what I did get to participate in and listen on were very encouraging. And so one of my takeaways was the concept that you shared, that even if you're in the hospital, you have your phone there with you, do something on your business and do something every single day. And I liked the statement that you had, overcoming not being in motion. We can think about how life just gets in the way sometimes of the things that we would like to accomplish. And I am a single mom at 70 years old. My daughter passed away in 2010, and I'm raising my granddaughter who is autistic and other diagnoses. And it's just my goal to find a way to have resources that can make our lives be a bit more joyful, because right now we're just living paycheck to paycheck. And I'm so done with that. I was writing in a blog when I was learning all the things that I was learning about her and her diagnoses. And I'm going to take that blog. My goal is to take that blog. I already have a goal and I've already started to work on it. So I'm really looking forward to the things that I'm going to learn from you, Ty, and from your team, because I need to move it forward. But I'm taking the blog and I'm recomposing it to be a book.
I love that. I love it. And this weekend, look, we'll be talking about some of that. I'll show you how you can go in and kind of make that process a little bit easier. There's a lot of you guys who have content, right, that you can go in and repurpose. You've got stuff that's blog content. Maybe you've got journal content, right? You've got books. You have things that you can go in and you can use it as your starting point. And as I said, repurpose it. And now you've got something that you can actually make available to the public. So thank you for joining us. I appreciate that. And look, you don't look 70 years old. So that's a beautiful thing. You're doing something right. All right. At least, and the fact that you're taking care of your granddaughter, you know, my heart goes out to you. And, you know, I feel like she has a great spirit that she's being raised by. So there you go. Thank you.
So kind of you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. All right. Who else do we have? This is beautiful, guys. This is why we do these things, right? To hear from you, to kind of get some backstory from you, right? So I see someone here. Give us your name, where you're watching from, and your biggest takeaway. You are unmuted. Oh, you just muted yourself. There you go. You're unmuted. Oh, you just muted yourself again. There you go. Leave it there. You're unmuted.
Okay. Hello, Kai. Good. And good evening to everyone. My name is Jean Ramkelawan. I'm from the country of Guyana in South America.
Oh, wow.
Yes. Okay. First of all, I must say I've learned a lot this afternoon, in fact, from all the other webinars. And my biggest takeaway this afternoon is the 5 points that you gave on becoming positive with myself, starting with the SMART goals and ending with the forward yourself with positivity. I've written one book that was published on Amazon. I've written a children's book which I have to publish, and to be honest, starting writing these books, I was sort of nervous. I told myself maybe these books might not be successful. What am I doing? But this afternoon, with these 5 points that you've given, it has raised my spirit much, and I feel confident in myself now.
I love it.
And
Look,
thank
look,
you so much for the knowledge.
thank you. I appreciate you joining us all the way from Guyana, you said, right? So look,
Yes,
this is not a one-shot deal. Like, this is not stuff that, and this is for everyone.
yes.
When it comes to the personal development, right, the self-improvement, it's not a one-shot deal. It's you do
Okay.
this stuff over and over and
Yes, yes.
over every single day.
Uh-huh.
Just like you go and you take a bath every single day. You don't take a bath one time or a shower one time, you think you're
Yes.
done for life, right? Or you think you're done for a month
Okay.
or a week. It's
Yes.
over and over and over. That's how you
Okay.
cleanse yourself of the person that you used to be with the thinking that you used to have to the
Yes.
that has this new thinking that makes everything
Thank you
else
so
now
much.
more doable. Right?
Right.
Thank you. We appreciate
I
you
feel
coming.
more positive now. But
love
just one other issue, please. This doesn't really relate to this seminar. I'm going to post something on chat. I want you to look at it when you finish with everyone.
Can you send it to kindlecashflow.com/support? Because that way we'll be, if someone could put that in the chat box, kindlecashflow.com/support. Because I won't be able to see it if it's sent to me
Okay.
directly. All right. Thank you. We appreciate you. All
Okay.
right. We have Barbara H. Barbara.
Yes.
Boom. There you go, Barbara.
Hello, Ty.
I love it.
I have to tell you, I've been following you since 2011.
Oh my God, you're making now I feel older than I actually am here.
Well, I'm way older than you, so there you go.
I doubt it. I doubt it.
Oh, yeah.
I doubt it. Look,
I have 3 children in their 40s, and I have 7 grandbabies. And you inspired me to launch a series of cookbooks back in January of 2012, and they're still selling, by the way. But anyway, I've signed up.
Again, Barbara, because
sorry?
I don't say that again. I don't think everyone heard you. Did you guys hear that? You published.
I published a series of cookbooks in January of 2012 through probably like mid 2012, etc. And I kind of abandoned that because my kids started having kids, and my grandbabies the oldest is 12, the youngest is 3 months, and I've been babysitting them till they get into like kindergarten, 1st grade, because my kids all work, right? And so now I'll be on baby duty again when, my youngest daughter goes back to work in 2 weeks, but I'm only doing 2 days a week. So my goal is to redo those original cookbooks, which were done, like you said, in Microsoft Word, thrown through Calibre, right? And they're still selling. I mean, I'm not making a ton of money because I've done zero marketing for 11 years, 10 years, nothing.
Isn't that impressive? Look, I've got books that I published 15 years ago, 14 years ago. That
Right.
every time I get a royalty on those books, I'm like, this is insane.
I know.
15 years later, and I'm like, oh my God, this is.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, fast forward, my goal now is to build an empire, if you will. So I can leave it to my kids, mainly my grandbabies, right? Because
I like the sound of that.
that's what I want to do, so that they have college funds, et cetera, or money to, take trips, et cetera, or go to special programs. 2 of my grandkids have special needs. So that's, my goal. But your story today, and I didn't know this about you, was
wow.
you are the epitome of, ever see the movie Galaxy Quest? It's like a
Yes.
sci-fi
One of my
comedy.
favorite.
It's like,
One of my
never
favorite.
give up, never surrender. That's you. That's you. So I have a lot on deck, and my goal right now is to revisit my old cookbooks that are still in ebook form. They have to be updated because they're really ugly, from, the formatting back in 2012, right? And I'm also going to put them in hardcover. But I need to start launching like a series of children's books and some other things. But I wanted to kind of go over a couple of things that really stuck out for me, and that is the short 50-page books, which I can probably do really, really well. And competitive analysis, the research. I used to work for an ad agency in Manhattan.
Oh wow, okay. Which
Yeah.
agency?
It was called TMP Worldwide, And it was the parent company of Monster.com. And
Oh,
I
wow.
was the chief client officer and had like 300 staff, etc. Crazy hours, high stress, travel all the time, 2-hour commute for 12 miles from where I live in Montclair, New Jersey to
Yeah.
Lower
Montclair.
Manhattan. You know Montclair?
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut, so
Yeah,
yeah,
I know. You're up the road, right? You're up 95, right?
tri-state area, yeah.
Yeah, the tri-state. But it would take me 2 hours to get home, etc.
Lenny's close to that. Lenny is over in Cherry Hill. He's a little bit closer.
He's a little bit south. I grew up in Philadelphia, so that's kind of right across the river, if you will.
Well, he's originally from North Philadelphia.
North Philly, really?
Yeah.
I'm from Northeast Philly.
Yep. So look at that.
So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. So I went to Girls High, and hope that's in North Philly, right? It's on Broad Street. There you go.
Broad Street, yeah. Broad Street's a
Yeah,
major
Broad Street in North
town.
Philly. Well, yeah. So I went to the Philadelphia High School for Girls, and he'll know where that is. It's on Broad Street. Anyway, but I wanted to go back to the competitive research because when I first published those cookbooks, it was spaghetti on the wall. I wasn't even thinking because I was on a webinar and you were on a webinar. I was like, oh, I was mad at my husband because the Super Bowl party was coming up in January, and I would be stuck in the kitchen while like 50 guys were in my living room, and I would be there all day by myself. And I said, enough, because you guys need to learn how to cook. So I started banging out the recipes, boom, 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 boom. And I think the first month I made like, I don't know, $2,800. It was crazy. And that was just on one book. And I let everything kind of go dormant because of all the grandbabies coming along and being a Grammy while everybody went back to work. And that's
Which
been
can happen. Look, things come into our lives, right? And sometimes we focus. So that's yeah.
Right. Because one of my grandsons was born in 2011, Christmas Eve. So I've been babysitting ever since. So, but the competitive research for new books was really important because I did that in my corporate life for a lot of the clients, because I had like clients like every drug company, Goldman Sachs, Marsh & McLennan, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, so I could apply some of those skills from my corporate, my former corporate life. I bailed out after 9/11, by the way.
So look, some of those skill sets, we always tell people that some of the skill sets that you had in a former life are transferable.
Yeah.
Like you can apply them to this stuff, and it may not be everything, but there's things that you can definitely apply. And look, Barbara, you're perfect as far as the example for that, right? So
right. Because I used to do spreadsheets, like Johnson & Johnson versus Bristol Myers Squibb or Pfizer or whatever it was, and look at the holes, and I would like find the gap, which is what you're probably looking for in terms of
100%.
competition, right? So I'd find the gap for the clients, and that was one of my specialties because I did a lot of strategy. So that stuck out for me. And I think everybody here has an amazing story because we're all here for a reason, whether it's you want freedom, but you want financial freedom. And that's very important for everybody to have that financial freedom. But I also, to your point with your PowerPoint earlier, it's the freedom of having the time to do what you want. Because in my corporate life, I had zero time. I slept like 4 or 5 hours a night, get up and do it all over again. I did that for years. And then, after 9/11, I lasted 2 years after 9/11. I'm like, I'm out of here. I can't stay in Manhattan anymore. I just can't. Because like, were they going to blow up the Lincoln Tunnel or what's next? I couldn't get over the anxiety of that.
And plus, look, the traffic and everything else, and the environment, and then the people, and it's right. We become a product of our environment. So, Barb, I appreciate. Is this your first KCF Live?
I'm sorry?
Is this your first KCF Live?
It is, and I've signed up before, but couldn't do it because it was like, can you come and babysit, or we're going away? Can the kids come stay with you? So
you got to start saying, look, what I did with my kids and my wife. Give me an hour, guys. Give me a day. I need to work on this stuff.
Right.
Barbara, we appreciate having you.
Well, thank you so much.
Someone else from the Northeast here. It's good to always hear from a former student, published cookbooks way back in 2012. $2,800 made that first month or so, or second month, or whatever it was, and
Yeah.
still generating royalties from that stuff. And look, now you're back. You're going to go back and repurpose those
Right.
cookbooks. You're going to freshen them up, and you're going to make them available. And that's how you do it. That's perfect.
Right. Well, thank you, Ty, and thank you to the community, because everybody, I loved hearing everybody's stories. The coaches were marvelous. I love having like the different viewpoints from everyone on your team. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay well. All right.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So there we go. We're going to close out. This is first day. The very first day of Kindle Cashflow Live is in the books. I can't believe that we've got how many 8 hours has passed by, right? We started at 11 a.m. It's now 7 p.m. Remember, for those of you that have a coaching call scheduled with your coach within the next hour, within the next 2 hours, you're going to go back over to kindlecashflow.com/seminar, all right, to meet your coach. So you'll go back over to kindlecashflow.com/seminar to meet your coach. And this is what that looks like. You'll click on this green button to be paired up with your coach. So even as we come to an end with KCF Live right now, that does not mean that you missed out on your coaching session. Make sure you go over to Kindle, write this down, kindlecashflow.com/seminar, or better yet, click onto the link that you see in the chat box so that this window opens up. So once your scheduled coaching call is due for tonight, or if it's whatever time it is for you, you're able to click onto this green button. Now, lastly, if you have not scheduled a coaching call, this is your final time, your absolute last chance to do so. Go over to kindlecashflow.com/seminar, click this red button and schedule your coaching call. So you can click that red button, you'll schedule your coaching call, and that will give you the ability to speak to one of your coaches. So you'll go here, you'll click the second red button that comes up, you'll wait for this countdown, and then you'll go in, you'll select the time slot that's available here. So let's see, you'll click this link to book your coaching session. And now we only have slots available for tomorrow. So today is completely booked up, right? But you'll select the time for tomorrow, and you want to do so now because these slots are going to be taken like quickly, right? You'll make sure that your time zone is here. You'll select the time. You'll hit continue. You'll fill out your first name, your last name, your phone number, your email address. You'll hit complete appointment. And then because your call is scheduled for tomorrow, it is especially important that you go and you set a reminder so that you don't get tied up into life tomorrow and you forget about your session. So you make sure that you put down on your calendar and your phone when you are supposed to come back to kindlecashflow.com/seminar and join your coach in the coaching zone. All right. So with that said, guys, look, all of this stuff is possible for everyone that's watching. It's super possible. We're giving you the keys. We're giving you the formula. We're giving you the community. We're giving you everything that you need to do whatever it is that you wish to do, to have success that you deserve to have. Stuff is not beyond your reach, right? It's not beyond your reach. There's people that, as I said earlier, who couldn't hold a candle to what it is that you know, to your smarts, to your ability. The only thing that they may have that you don't have is they have the confidence. And they're going in and they're moving quickly with speed. They're getting past the procrastination. They're getting past the self-doubt. And that's what I want you to do. So we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same link.
All right, guys, join us for the encore tomorrow. Check your email. We'll see you. Stay well.